off the weed. And you can't stay off the weed. You ain't getting busted for using weed. Stay off the weed. You can stay off the weed. Stay off the damn weed. And they don't listen.
When it comes to marriages, the women lose their mind. Your fiance is going to lose her mind. Your mother-in-law is going to lose her mind. Your mom is going to lose her mind. Several of your sisters and female relatives are going to lose their mind. Go elope. Trust me on that. Go elope. Because basically every female in the family is going to terrorize you guys until it's over. Once it's over, I mean, they'll be upset for a few days, but it'll be over. And then, you cruise away, along, have a happy marriage, have a happy life.
I'll pass along the message. Thanks, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Trevor, unless he's crazy, is totally on my side. And trust me on this. If Trevor doesn't have the sense to do that, tell him to call me. Because, I mean, he needs to do. I told all my kids, I'll give you $10,000 extra if you elope. So far, they haven't done it, but I would, too.
I'll have him call you for sure.
All right.
Hey, here we go. Wow, Daddy, what is hot? Hey, turbo, hey, can. Wow, Daddy, what is hot?
Okay, so far, that is what it feels like right now. We just married 3 innings, let it eat. Take it out, yeah, after 3-11 marriage.
Okay, but listen, I still beat both of y'all. I know that.
I mean, well, damn. Nobody won. Jada was trying to win the fade. You talking about you could. So all these people that filled out bracket, you just try to beat me and Joe, huh?
That's all that matters. That's the only thing that matters. Hey, matter of fact, hold on.
What this man got now? He done got him a crowd or something, Joe. Nah.
And still,
Hey, man, you gotta chill, bro. Look at
what we talking about? And still,
what keep you motivated though? Because like people like you don't ever get tired.
Tired of what? Winning?
All right. Why? Nick Saban retiring? Huh? Nick Saban retiring. What? It's on ESPN. Oh, no.
I'll tell you, quarterbacks, you get all the good-looking women. What a beautiful woman. Wow, he's AJ's doing some things right now. So you're a youngster in Alabama. Start getting the football out and throw it around the backyard.
What we've told our guys was let's study that thing and then get busy. Like a homely girl on a honeymoon. Busy. We want to be busy.
Went to Chicago yesterday.
Say group up, let's go.
Oh, no smoke with him.
Say group up, let's go.
He's serious.
I've been to Charlotte twice. I've been to Raleigh. Twice. Raleigh.
Okay, close enough.
That's how you say it? How you say it? You for real? But it's spelled R-A-L-E-I-G-H.
Raleigh.
That's Raleigh.
Close enough. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, she was nice too, huh?
We can't wait for kickoff. But we got to practice a little bit. I want these guys bouncing around today like a pogo stick on Viagra.
Shut up texting me this. My team is losing right now. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it.
People talk about how talented they are and what a good team they are. They're consistent. They play well week after week. They didn't win the lottery to win 10 games.
Randy slithering. Watch out. Here's the cover. Go on. Who give up yards? We do. Who missed tackles? We do. Who let tight ends run free? That's us. Third and long? Still first down. Every time. Who can't stop a screen?
Yeah, me too, Jack. Me too, buddy. Me too.
Say the Dallas Cowboys going to the Super Bowl.
Are you smoking dope? You got to be.
And I had to go back and replay this because what the is she crying for, boy? Bitch must have bet her soul on this game. Then watch this next white lady come up.
You're still alive.
Boy, she act like somebody killed a pet.
We just won. What was the score? 31-14. Stephen A. Watch him out.
Oh shit. It's a good sound clip for the season.
Hey man, how much have you had to drink tonight? Not enough. Not enough? Not enough.
Peters and Amari Cooper. Let's see who gets that call.
Cowboys win. Tickets will get a flag thrown here. Jordan Lewis going after it for good reason.
I look at the computer say, Floyd said, fuck T.I., fuck Nelly, fuck 50. I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Because I be saying so much about it, especially like on our team. And people love to blame the player so much. They be like, oh, he's just not what he thought he could be. And in my head, I want to tweet out so bad is, when are we going to stop saying it's players instead of saying, or it's coaching or scheme? Like, why don't the scheme ever suck? Why don't the coaching ever suck? Like, people don't realize that, bro. There be a lot of like, BS that be going into this league. Like, that people don't realize, like, you think I want to be doing the BS? They telling me I got to do it. Like,
he has to overcome another obstacle. So I'm going to support him. I'm going to lift him up. And I'm going to be there for him. Because I see the way he fights.
I see the way that he works, and I know who he is as a person, and that's all I have to say to address.
No, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, we're so far past that, to be honest with you, but that's obvious. I mean, you just want to piss me off going into this week?
I'm like, bro, Cowboys supposed to be playing tonight. What the fuck is going on? I got my hat on, I got my jersey on, I got my forces on, I got my swag on, I done prayed to my Jesus, everything, want it?
They're ever going to be there, but, you know, I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there, so, yeah. We here.
We're here. Demarcus Lawrence, welcome to the Seahawks. Thanks for joining us.
Girlfriend grabbed the phone. Got that phone right back. You get your phone, dog. You get your phone, dog. That was the play of the season. Every man at the house was going, get your phone, dog. Get your phone, dog. CD Lamb.
Now we look at our 10-day forecast. It's looking a little bit like those Dallas Cowboys. Is peaking in the 90s.
I really like the Eagles.
Stop saying that. We want the Cowboys to win.
No, I want the Eagles to win.
No, you do not.
Yes, I do.
Coming up, got our 42 catches.
I want the Eagles to win.
Keep saying it.
But when healthy, still a player who will be a part of this
the Eagles.
The Eagles on offense are like a good boxer. It's like they just jab.
I want the Eagles to win.
And then all of a sudden you start creeping in and trying to make plays and stop saying one. And you want the Cowboys to win?
Now your hands up.
Patrick Mahomes or Jalen Hurts for $15. Brother Chris, it's all about Jalen Hurts because he got a black queen forever, snow bunny never. I like Patrick Mahomes, but he's bunny hopping. I'm going with number one. I'm going with Jalen Hurts. Fly, RBG, Eagles fly. I said fly, RBG, Eagles fly.
Y'all today. Go Birds. About to spank y'all today, too. Enjoy y'all package, though. Take this down. I'm about to lose. Fly, Eagles fly.
Are you going to school tomorrow?
I don't know.
Is he going to school tomorrow?
No, I ain't making it.
That's a bruise. It ain't just no soreness, it's a bruise. We're gonna aggravate it with the gun. I'm gonna talk to that. I graduated exercise science. I'm gonna listen. Damn. You getting your ass out here, you finna block. I ain't blocking. No, you getting your ass out here, we finna block.
I ain't blocking.
Blocking the date.
I'm not blocking.
Hey man, how's it going? You Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, so someone called in reference to your Facebook post.
The Eagle Floss, man.
I know. So
I don't. I'm fine. The Eagle Floss and the Dr. Barkin.
I got you. You don't hurt yourself?
No, but fucking Jalen Hurts the 3 goddamn turn the ball over 6 times, man.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. All right, man. I appreciate it. All right, take it easy.
I think it's 2 ways you can actually cut a sandwich. A and B are the 2 ways you can cut it. Choose C or D. You seek help.
And was assisting people down. My man just started throwing babies out the window. We was catching them. Unlike Aguilar and his mishaps, I like to put that out there.
The MVP front runner. If anybody else got to say something different about that, then come see me. I'm right here in Beemore outside the bank. If you got an issue with that, come see me. I'm about that. Big trust. Woo woo. Lamar Jackson in the flesh.
Took a few more here for Lamar. Mike Jones. Lamar, there was that point in the season where you guys lost 3 straight, 4 or 5.
Mike Jones, that's lit. Mike Jones, that's lit right now. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's all right.
What the fuck?
Oh my, oh.
What the?
You bristling up? Well, just make sure you're not. Because I can bristle up too now. I mean, you ask a question like that, and I'm trying to give you a logical answer.
The season's a lot like a roll of toilet paper. The closer you get to the end, the faster it goes. And so we've got to realize the importance of each football game.
Hey, when you
I use more product than anybody.
When you and Tim go get your hair done, what y'all tell them? Like to the left or the right?
No, I tell them go number 2 all the way up to a fade and just give me a faux hawk, man. It's a faux hawk, bro.
Number 2.
Hey, Paul, what do you tell them?
Hey,
just a little off the side.
Leave the sides. Leave the sides.
I always tell them I should leave a little bit on the top.
Oh.
The Bulldogs.
Yale Bulldogs.
Wow. Not so fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget?
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast. I go with Harvard. What's the matter?
I'm not laughing about it. You think this is funny? I take it serious. I'm not real serious. I put my heart and soul into it every single week.
All I'm saying is the camera show.
I'm just telling you right now what I do every single week. Every single week, I put my freaking heart and soul into this. I step my off. I don't go out there and laugh. It's not funny. It's not funny. Nothing's funny to me. I don't go out there and get embarrassed on Monday Night Football in front of everybody.
That's why I'm asking you.
I'm telling you right now. We're talking. Dudes and I are talking.
What was the context?
I'm done. Sorry. I'm not doing it.
I'm gonna say y'all saw Dakota. I wanted to go to LSU. Ended up going to Mississippi State. Won a game. 1 year out of 6. What do you think that's funny, T? You got 2 B's, don't you? You on the field, hey, how you feel?
I just don't condone the bashing of Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys and have the
Green throws him in a chokehold, rips him back down, and is throwing punches. And no one has any chill at this moment, and they're after it. All Ragnarok is breaking out there in Jacksonville, Bengals and Jags.
All right, tell the camera what you think about life. Like, how do you see life?
Sucks, but I'm playing football right now, so.
And just Smitty, so, and then none of them. So I had all the thought process planned out, but anyways, there's Landon.
Yeah. Clearly, Landon Dickerson, the center, All-American.
Watch this, George.
Damn.
What the? He bought that like.
Boy, quick.
Oh, I knew how important this was for our team. Auntie, chill. I knew how important this was for our team, and just it's just crazy to me how much music I don't know out here. Like, I know I'm getting old. Like, I listen to all types of music too. I just don't know shit out here. I ain't never heard this song in my life.
I'm big. Yeah.
1 yards.
Bro, y'all need help, bro.
Who told y'all that? Who told y'all that?
J-Mo, that's your fault. I'm gonna go to Cancun like everybody told me to do, and I'm gonna enjoy myself because I don't have nothing else to do, so I'm taking myself there. So you don't quit, and you don't quit in sports. You retire. You don't get to quit. It's not an option. See, someone told me that a long time ago. That ain't even an option. The person told me that, he ain't here anymore. He died.
I always tell our boys that the most important things in life are faith, family, and football. I don't believe it. You stupid son of a... Run the route again. Mark, you stupid mother... That is so bad. Are you mentally challenged, son? Or seriously, are you mentally challenged? And if you notice there, I put them in that order for a reason, because the thing that comes first is your faith. Your faith with God is the most important thing in life. If you don't get your into gear, we might not win a ball game all season. We'll go 0-12. And everyone in your life is going to hate you, myself included. All right? All right, bow your heads. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we as a coaching staff know that football is just a game. So we want to use this game to build young men of character. Win by any means necessary. So if you're at the bottom of the pile, you see someone's finger, break it. You see that star running back at the bottom of the pile, twist that ankle, get him out of the game. Anything we can do to win this ball game. I don't care if you got to play dirty. I don't care if you got to cheat.
I'm telling you. Hey, they're rougher than a pine cone toilet seat. Those guys can really play.
Are you in this game? Let him handle it. Let him handle it. Let him handle it. Let him handle it. Oh, you shut the fuck up. Let him handle it. Don't tell me nothing. You understand? Get off the fucking sideline. Push it on my. You don't push on my.
This is what's great about sports. This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game.
We had several opportunities to make plays. We didn't get the plays made. We got to make more plays. It reminded me when I was in the 3rd grade, and it came time to go to the 4th grade in June, and they told me I was almost good enough to go to 4th. Did you go or not? No, I had to go to 3rd. You went again? Yeah.
Lousy practice. Trying to get our asses kicked Friday.
Coach, what about 4th string? I didn't even get to practice.
Wilder, after all the goddamn shenanigans you pulled last season, you should be thanking God you're still in goddamn uniform, goddammit!
Needed some time to get going, and here comes the... Oh! We almost lost one.
You got another game. You got another game, man.
And roll time. Thank you. Roll time. Roll time. That's what. Roll time. Roll time.
I hate Tennessee because first of all, it's Tennessee. And I just hate them because they low down, they dirty, they some snitches. And I hate Philip Farmer. I hate their colors. I'm not a dog person. I just hate Tennessee, man. Like I hate Neyland Stadium. It looks like a garbage truck, worker convention. And I hate all the quarterbacks. I hate Tennessee, man. It reminds me, it's not that orange you can see.
I hate Tennessee more than I hate Auburn. I just dislike Auburn. I hate Tennessee. Tennessee's colors is that throw orange. It's not that orange you can sit with. It's that puke inside of pumpkin orange. And I don't like pumpkins. So I really don't like Tennessee, man. I can't stress that enough, man. And they lose. They sore losers because they're not Alabama, and I hate Tennessee, man.
Oh, beautiful, man. That's a good one. Thank you, man.
I can't stress that enough. I hate them.
I mean, his ability to just escape and make plays on the run, I mean, it's just outstanding what I've seen. And just the defensive side of it as well. They're definitely going to be a concern for me going forward if Alabama doesn't get their offensive line straightened out.
Chelsea, that's a great point, because if you look at Alabama's
60 seconds, right?
I can't wait to get paid again.
Oh, baby. You know what? I'm still happy.
What is up, y'all? Good to be back, Touchdown Tribe. We're going to start off with some drops. We got Stephen James in the building talking about his Pistons losing. Yeah, that was rough. I ain't gonna lie. That was a heartbreaker. I hate it for the Pistons. I would rather see the Pistons win than the Knicks. I'm sorry, Knicks fans, okay? I'm sorry. But I would rather just see the Pistons win because I don't want the Knicks to go all the way. I'm sorry, I don't. And it has to do with Stephen A. Because if they win, if the Knicks wins, then he's going to hold it over the Cowboys' heads. He's going to be like, well, the Knicks won, but the Cowboys still can't do it. It's like, I don't want to hear that, okay? I mean, I do agree with Stephen A. lot on what he says about the Cowboys. I just don't want him to have nothing to hold over our head, okay? That's it. That's where I stand on it. So, yeah, that was a heartbreaker for the Pistons, but let's go ahead and play your drop, Steven. Let's see. Is it this one? I still haven't clipped it up. I need to clip it up, but I still haven't done that. So it's on my to-do list.
You bristling up?
Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is it. Let's see if I can't fast forward to where it needs to be.
You play to win the game.
You play to win the game. Okay. Moving on. Shout out to Pooh Man, the greatest mod in the YouTube streets, y'all. Pooh Man, you dropped that one thing in the Discord about the streaming services. I've got to cover that. It's on my list to cover that because you out of anybody, knows how big of a pet peeve that has been for me. So shout out to you for dropping that in my Discord. I am going to cover it. Let's go to your drop.
Rolex wearing. Woo! Diamond ring wearing. Woo! Kiss stealing. Woo! Wheeling dealing. Woo! Limousine ride. Woo! Jet flying. Woo! Son of a gun. Woo! And I'm having a hard time holding these alligators down. They give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair. Woo!
Shout out to you, Pooh Man. And Jesse, shout out to you. Jesse, I got some bad news. I can't play your drop. They got me. YouTube finally detected it and they got me. So I'm going to have to switch it up again. I'll probably speed it up some more and hopefully they won't get me after I speed it up some more. But yeah, I'm going to have to make some changes to your drop. Let's see. Is that all? I think that's all we have in the building. Okay. So let's go to the main screen. First, I'm going to start off with our national anthem. So all rise for the Touchdown Tribe national anthem, because like y'all are patriots over there on Coop's channel with the Do Better podcast, and over there on Go Crees, and of course Beard Vans. You also are patriots over here. So all rise for the Touchdown Tribe national anthem.
On the Star Spangled Banner, Fergie.
That our flag was still there.
Alright, now, we're going to start off with the motivational video, get into some Pat McAfee updates with Aaron Rodgers. As y'all know, Aaron Rodgers has returned to the Steelers, as I predicted. Y'all, for all of the ones who told me that Aaron Rodgers was not returning, shout out to G Hudson, aka G Honda, but G Honda, he was one of them. He was like, Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back. I'm going to make it a point to go back through my lives and find every chat from G Honda talking about how Aaron Rodgers isn't returning and how Aaron Rodgers only has one arm, all that smack that G Honda was talking, I'm going to clip it up and show it, because I'm telling you, I ended up being right. I said, Aaron Rodgers is returning. Y'all better accept it, because that's just going to be what it's going to be. And here we are. Here we are. So I'm not mad at it. I know some people have a lot of hate for Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not one of them. But we're going to get into Pat McAfee covering Aaron Rodgers news, Speakeasy covering it as well, get into the Eagles schedule, and then I'm going to show y'all a chart that I made of the wins and losses that I'm predicting for the Dallas schedule. Keep in mind, this is early predictions. My mind, I promise you, my mind will probably change on this, depending on how the media covers it, because I can be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to these games. So just depending on how the media is covering it and what's going on, that's going to determine, you know, my ultimate decision of who wins and who loses. And then we're going to cover the Bengals with Burrow, and then close it out with a motivational video. So let's go ahead and get it started with the motivational video.
One of my favorite quotes till this day: God will put you back together in front of those who broke you.
God will put you back together in front of those who broke you. I really needed to hear that, because I ain't gonna lie, I've been feeling a little bit discouraged. And this is actually a quote that I have on my computer screen, is God will put you back together in front of those who broke you. It's just a reminder not to give up, that things will work out. You know, there's a Bible verse that says, and we know all things work for the good for those who love Christ, who are called according to his purpose. And I truly believe that. I have to believe that. And I think whether you're a believer or you're not, it doesn't really matter. We all need that motivation of staying determined no matter what, and believing that we do have a purpose and that things work together in the end. I think we all need that in life, because this life ain't easy, as we know. So hopefully all that helped you like it helped me. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's see, what'd you say, Pooh Man? Chelsea, the Alux video. Yes, I put in the Discord. Explains what Jerry has been doing for years. Okay, yeah, I've got to check that out. Because multiple people, I think, were talking about that as well. So I have to clip that up. I have to clip it up and cover that. So thank you for reminding me. Pooh Man. Okay, let's go ahead and get into Pat McAfee on Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers officially signed. It's a huge deal, obviously, because we had been waiting. I think the world had been waiting. Yinzers had certainly been waiting. Whenever we went back to Pittsburgh for the draft, Tone Diggs went around town, talked to all his old friends, every different generation, and it seemed like there was a unanimous thought around Pittsburgh, which was, if this guy don't want to play for the Steelers, tell him to get the hell out of town. We don't care. Okay, see you later. People were getting a little bit upset.
I'm telling you, that was like G Honda, okay? That was just like G Honda.
For the second offseason in a row, they felt as if they were being held. It's the win now. He signed
Got
for
a chance to win now. I kid you not. All that talk that G Honda was saying, just to turn around and make a post. I think he made a post, a YouTube short recently. He just turned around and said that something about the Steelers could go all the way now. It's like, you were just talking trash about Aaron Rodgers. Now you're going to turn it around. But ain't that the way it goes? Chelsea, $25 million for 1 year old man QB. And let's see, and missed out on the other pick. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Okay, so here's my thing with Aaron Rodgers. He did great. He did great. I don't know why people are acting like, you know, he's some washed up player that's not going to be able to do well, because the stats say differently, okay? He did well. So I'm not holding that against him, you know, got to stay healthy, of course, but they made some great moves, great changes to accommodate Aaron Rodgers, and I mean, I'm not counting out the Steelers. I'm not. What's up, Uncle Rick? Good to see you in the building. Y'all go subscribe to Uncle Rick. Great content. You know, there's always going to be things in life where, you know, we agree and disagree with things like, you know, for example, Uncle Rick thinks that I have terrible teams. But y'all make sure y'all go check out Uncle Rick on YouTube. Okay. What is up, LC? You know, let me go play your drop, LC. Let's see. I got to remember where I'm at here. 41 seconds. Okay. Gotta play LC's drop real quick since she came into the building. Man, I'm getting so many drops. Okay, here we go. Man, I had trouble playing. Hold on, let me try it again. Let's see. There we go. We're gonna play it again, okay? I don't know why I had trouble playing. I'll check the format of it and see if that's the issue. But shout out to you, LC. You get the picture. Okay. Back to the video.
Or Mason.
Let's go back to where we were at here.
Now he signs for 22 to 23 million, incentives up to 25 million. I assume when a Super Bowl, you'll get all the way up there.
Now his
there's
contract worth 25 million. I think it's 22 guaranteed, 1-year deal. This was ultimately what I think that the issue was for Aaron Rodgers. I think it was more to do with money. At first, I didn't think it was with the money because I was like, you know, he's getting paid more because they were going to offer him 15 versus the minimum of 10. But then I got to thinking about it. I was like, well, he did decent. They're desperate to have him back. So he could be negotiating, you know, plus you had Kirk Cousins sign a big deal with the Raiders. So I'm like, it could actually be the money. He could be wanting more. Now he's getting more. So I think that's, you know, they just had a few little things that they needed to work out with the schedule. Shout out to CDT Beats, the music producer for the show. How to play him in the background while I talk.
some interesting stuff that's going to have to happen in the quarterback room. Obviously, Drew Aller's in there. Mason Rudolph's
Uncle
in there.
Rick, I got my OBS on fleek. You know, I had no clue back in the day what that even meant, and I had to Google what that meant. And I'm young. I should know these words, but I don't, okay? I don't. I guess I have an old soul. I don't know. OBS update is bugging out. I don't know. Shout out to you, Uncle Rick. I don't know if I've updated my OBS, and I don't know if I have it set to do automatic updates. So that's good to know. That's good to know about the OBS update. Rodgers needs to go home. We'll continue to get into it. We'll continue to get into it.
Will Hard's in there. And then obviously Aaron comes back and is a starting quarterback. Phenomenal leader, I think, for the younger quarterbacks in a Mike McCarthy-led offense for Aaron, for them to kind of watch. Feels like that would be a perfect situation for whoever is the next quarterback. Mason Rudolph, intrigued, see how it goes.
This is what I like about it. You have to have a veteran quarterback to develop these young QBs, these young rookie QBs. That's what I like the most about this. If Aaron Rodgers wasn't returning, I would be extremely worried about these rookie QBs. But the fact that he's returning and you're going to have more younger QBs learning from him, I think that is just amazing. I think that's great. Despite what you all might think of Aaron Rodgers, I think that's great for the NFL organization in general, to just continue to set that type of example. Like you had Ty Simpson going under Matthew Stafford. Who else? I'm trying to think of who else. Those are the top ones that come to mind. You know, you had Carson Beck going to Arizona Cardinals. We'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out for him. But he's one that's going to be without a veteran QB presence. And that's a concern for me. Oh, Mendoza. How did I forget Mendoza? Mendoza with Kirk Cousins. Okay, back to it.
Says that are at the practice field right now for the OTAs that just started. Aaron, by the way, has not missed anything. Nope. First voluntary OTA today. He's at it on the field. We got clips from Mark Caboli, boots on the ground, of Aaron stretching and doing his thing
Man,
around
I
there.
ain't gonna lie. I really love these stretches when I'm working out. It really stretches your hip flexors. And this is so important for, not only women, but men as well. But I'm telling you, those hip flexor stretches matter. They matter, y'all, when you're strength training. Shout out to those hip flexor stretches.
But if you're going to go with Drew Aller in the future, if you're going to go with Will Howard in the future, or Mason in the future, this would be a pretty perfect person to watch kind of operate in the Mike McCarthy system.
And I know I'm distracted by this stretch right here, but if you notice the movement, it's, you're moving forward and then you turn your leg to the side a little bit and then you're stretching this way. So I really love this stretch. Big fan of that stretch for all those who work out.
Field, but also in the meeting rooms where they're tight everywhere. This feels like a good thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers fans. I think Yinzers are feeling that way, or no, Tone Diggs?
If the goal is to win football games, this is a good thing. Okay, we've talked about it a lot over the last few years about how they hover around that 10-7, get into the playoffs, not do well in the playoffs, and they've hovered around that for the last few years. And a lot of people say that that's where Aaron gets you back to because that's where they were last year. And it's hard to argue that, but if winning is the goal, which I believe it is in the NFL, and it definitely is for Coach McCarthy and the entire Steelers organization, I think Aaron does give them the best chance. Now, will it keep them in that, limbo for the next however many years that Aaron's going to do this? Maybe potentially with next year's.
So I would say that this was the best outcome to happen for the Steelers. Because, again, you're having those younger rookie QBs develop under Aaron Rodgers, and they built the team around him for his return. And I discussed this before. I had the video from Mina Kimes talking about the changes that they made in, hopes of Aaron Rodgers returning. It wasn't really hopes. What other word can I use besides hopes? The prediction that Aaron Rodgers was coming back, which ultimately we know ended up happening. I don't know if I see... What's up, Big Natty? I'll play your drop in a second. I don't know if I see Aaron Rodgers playing another season. Take that with a grain of salt, because, he said on the Pat McAfee show before that whenever he signed the deal the first time with Mike Tomlin as head coach, that this is why he didn't expect a lot of money, because this was likely going to be his last season. Now we know he's returning. The Steelers made it very enticing for Aaron Rodgers to come back. But that's hard to maintain. So I don't know if, depending on how this season goes, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers would return for another season to do it all over again. I don't. I think this would likely be his last year. But like I said, take it with a grain of salt. And let's go ahead and play your drop, Big Natty. Always good to have you in the building. Let's see. Big Natty, Big Natty, Big Natty. Okay, here we go.
Come on, Clint! Oh, God!
He's still down there. Still there. Yep, he just come up and wrecked the hell out of you again on purpose.
Y'all have it going. That's it. That's why I don't take this shit serious.
Sorry, Tyler. Just trying to talk to you there.
Peace out!
I love when Bubba says peace out. That was funny, the way he said it. Okay, shout out to you, Big Natty.
But if you're
All
the
right,
Steelers,
let me go back to
obviously-
where we were at.
Last year, I think we're all impressed that they win a game. right? Just with everything that had potentially been, it's like, holy hell, how have the Steelers continued to do so well? They got a great defense. We assume that's going to continue. They'll have a good defense. The AFC North always going to be tough. Obviously, we know that. But Aaron Rodgers operating the Mike McCarthy offense. Should I be
Now
as
look at
excited
his
as I am?
stats. I was kind of disappointed by his completion rate, his completion average. I mean, that was a little bit low. But if you just look at, 25 touchdowns, his passing yards, all the other stats, it's not like he's horrible. And it's not like his completion was like the lowest, right? He's still a decent quarterback.
I'm blindly thinking you're picking me up and dropping me back in 2011. That's what I think is happening.
Long time ago. That's a long time ago, and that's the only thing. That's the only reason you wouldn't be excited. Like most people were saying, like, yeah, this gets you in playoff contention. But if you're the Steelers, obviously you want to win a Super Bowl, so that's kind of where you've been hovering around, just like Tone said. Does this get you as excited as a new free agent sign, a big-time trade with a young guy, a new draft pick, a number 1 overall pick out there in Vegas? No, because you don't have that long runway out in front. But for this year, with the defense that they have, who are, kind of up there in years, they are high paid. They are good players.
I honestly would compare it. Dare I compare it to a Bengals situation right now? Like, they did make a lot of changes that might be temporary changes for right now to hopefully, help give them the best chance to succeed. I feel like it's a lot of what, the Bengals did.
Some additions on the offensive side of the ball as well. So, you should be better than last year. The AFC North is always going to be competitive. It's a new chapter over there in Baltimore. Cincinnati, what are they going to do? So,
Hey,
brand new chapter.
Darius Butler, he brought up the Bengals too. Okay, so, I was tracking on that.
New chapter. You're right. Deshaun Baker's back. Pro Bowl Shador is back as well. So we shall see. But yeah, if I'm a Steelers fan, this is something I feel like all the Steelers fans kind of expected for it to happen. So him with being there, not missing anything, I think it will be good.
I don't think the Steelers fans expected this to happen, but it felt like everybody
Obviously, the Steelers fans really did not expect this to happen. Because like I said, shout out to G Hudson, a.k.a. G Honda. He was the biggest critic. He was like, Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back. He's got one arm. All this nonsense, right? So I guess you could say he was one of those Steelers fans that was in that same boat, not thinking he was coming back. And I kept saying, I was like, y'all have obviously not watched a lot of Aaron Rodgers interviews. Like, you really start to understand his mindset. I was like, this guy's returning. I was like, there's no way he's not.
Steelers expect this to happen. The fans,
like the organization.
It felt like every time we would ask, we'd be like, "Hey, who's playing quarterback?" Relax. It was kind of what we were told.
We're talking, Aaron.
And it's like, we would talk to them. There's constant contact, constant communication. It's like, okay, well then how come it seems like the fans don't feel that way? And he's, listen, we're telling them every time. Rooney's, next Tuesday we'll have an answer.
That's a good question for G Honda. We all need to ask G Honda this question. Why did you doubt Aaron Rodgers' return? That's my question. That's a good question to ask him. Why did you doubt his return? It's like, what made you come to the conclusion he would absolutely not be back? And why did you say he only had one arm? What was the reason? Man, I wish I had that drop. I don't think I have that drop on here. What was the reason? Shout out to Go Cree Cree. That's Go Cree Cree's job. What was the reason from Cardi B? That's why my mind went to that. I was thinking of Cree Cree's drop. I'm telling you, everyone, well, not everyone, obviously, but me, I thought it's inevitable. If you just looked at the changes that the Steelers made, I was like, they are building this team for Aaron Rodgers' return. Also, you had Mike McCarthy on the Pat McAfee show pretty early on saying that, was this after they announced he was the head coach? I can't remember. It was early on. But he was talking about how he was in contact with Aaron Rodgers. And we all know that, they mended things and all of that. So I was like, yeah. He's coming back. He's returning.
probably piece together the entire context of how we got to this point, why we got to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now, senior NFL insider for ESPN, Adam Schefter.
Shout out Adam Scheffner.
Gentlemen, what's going on?
Okay, Schefter, you felt like the building, every time we chatted with anybody from there, felt this was inevitable. I don't know who was giving you your information on it all. Was this inevitable from all parties? And is there anything that is kind of,
What is up,
or was
Derek?
there...
I'll play your drop in a second, but shout out to you, Derek. Hope all is well. You were on one last night on Go Creek's channel. You were funny, but you were serious too. But you know, I'm your biggest supporter, Derek. I will never say one bad thing about you, Derek. I don't care. Well, I do care a little bit, depending on what you do or say. Like, if it was something too extreme, you know, I'm gonna be like, Derek, you probably shouldn't have said that. But, you know, I am going to support you no matter what.
Anything that was kind of holding it back from happening, or was it just waiting for the OTAs to start?
Well, I want to thank Tone for all those tips and information that he provided during this entire process. That was very generous of Tone.
Tone broke
Thank
the
you very
news.
much for that.
Tone broke the news.
Yeah,
Big deal.
Tone is the man. Tone is the man. Tone is the man.
Love you,
See it
Tone.
on your tweet.
And so, look, this is a process where I think there was always an understanding that the time to circle on the calendar for Aaron to be back was today, the start of the OTAs. And I think this team told
kind
them,
of
look,
what Adam Scheffner predicted eventually. At first, you know, he said, okay, maybe this date, and then, you know, a few weeks ago he said, okay, by this time frame, before May 18th, we will know an answer for sure. Or maybe it was May 18th, actually. But he said, we will know. We will know. Sure enough, we knew.
take the time you want, do whatever you need. We'd like you in there for the start of OTAs. And inevitably, those conversations picked up. He was back in Pittsburgh about a week and a half ago, getting situated. Like, you're not going back to Pittsburgh if you're Aaron Rodgers and you're not intending to play. And then there was the matter of working out the contract, which they did over the weekend, a one-year deal worth up to $25 million. So there were the little formalities, none of which was bigger or more important than Aaron Rodgers ultimately deciding this was, in fact, what he wanted to do. And I don't know that the team fully was convinced of that until this weekend.
I think they were. This is where I'm probably going to disagree with Adam Scheffner, is I do think they were convinced. I do think they were fully convinced that Aaron Rodgers was, you know, returning, because he had a team built around him. Like, they made changes to build it for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm probably going to disagree with Adam Scheffner on that point.
Signed off on that and the deal and agreed to come back for the start of the OTAs today. If you remember last year, he didn't show up till June. So by that standard, he's a little bit ahead of schedule right now, showing up in May. But I don't think the team was absolutely in the know until this weekend that he was coming back.
Okay.
Depending on what Adam Scheffner means by that, like the team as in the players or like as in the organization, I would have to assume he's just talking about the team. So that being said, if he's just talking strictly about the team, yeah, I could see where they weren't in the know. They really weren't for sure if he was or wasn't returning. So they were just preparing for whatever scenario was to happen. So I could see that. But I do think that the organization, and I do think Mike McCarthy, I think they knew, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is most likely returning.
Now, last year, a very different situation for Aaron. Obviously, figuring out whether or not he wanted to continue to play, but also had a very close person in his circle that was going through a very, very serious life thing. So I think he felt obligated to be a part of that, take care of that situation before he made any decision for himself. He was very open about that. I think Yinzers were cool with hearing that at one point, but also like, hey, need you to either play or not. This year, I think there was seemingly no excuse for that type of reasoning from the Yinzer fans. And the reason why you saying the expectation was for him to be always back on this particular day kind of got lost in the translation is because, remember, Rooney came out and said, we'll have an answer by draft, we'll have an answer by this day, we'll have an answer by this day. So it was always like fake deadlines seemingly being put public. And now it feels
I
like
don't think it was fake deadlines. I get what Pat McAfee's saying here, but I don't think it was necessarily fake deadlines. I just think it was just the speculation of it. Like, okay, it could happen this day. Okay, it could happen this day. Until it finally reached a point where someone like Adam Schefter said, all right, we're going to know by May 18th for sure. And that's what happened.
None of this is going to matter whenever they get started. What are expectations here? Because we got Kaboli sending us video from practice. I believe Will Howard was taking the number 2 reps behind Aaron Rodgers. What does this mean about the rest of the quarterback room in your eyes, Shefty? And they could just be rotating who's getting 2 reps. Legit. This is first OTA. This could just be a reps thing, but we're just telling you what we are hearing. What does this mean for Mason Rudolph, Drew Aller, Will Howard in your eyes? What are you hearing, Schefter?
Well, what's interesting is I think the organization is very high on Will Howard. And if Aaron Rodgers had decided for whatever reason he wasn't going to come
Will
back
Howard,
this season,
if this is likely, which this is what I'm saying, I think, you know, it is likely Aaron Rodgers' last year. Oh, man. Will Howard, he's going to have to soak up what Aaron Rodgers teaches him like a sponge, because he's not going to have as many seasons learning under Aaron Rodgers as what Love from Green Bay got to have, or, you know, Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, right? Like, he's not going to have that many seasons to learn under him if it is likely Aaron Rodgers' last season, which is kind of what I'm predicting here.
I think the organization was fully prepared to move forward with Will Howard as its starting quarterback. Now, again, we haven't seen anything that Will Howard can do in the NFL, but they're a big believer in what he brings to the table. Mike McCarthy has had success working with younger quarterbacks who are sharp, and that's Will Howard right now. And by the way, they also believe, right or wrong, that Mike McCarthy is just the guy to unlock the talents of Drew Aller. And if we go back to a year ago at this time, there were a lot of people that would have thought that Drew Aller was a potential first-round draft pick, potential top 10 pick.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with these QBs, right? Because you could end up having someone like a Tom Brady. I'm not saying they're going to have the same success as Tom Brady, y'all. You know, take that with a grain of salt. But I'm just saying, you know, it could be someone who's talented who got underestimated. Kind of like Tom Brady, right?
Year did not go the way that a lot of people envisioned, and now the Steelers get him where they do in the draft, mid-round pick, and I think that they think Mike McCarthy can bring it out of him as well. So I think that there are 2 young quarterbacks on that roster that they believe in, that they have hopes for, that they think McCarthy can help unlock and grow into the successor to Aaron Rodgers. We all would assume this would be his last year, but then again, everybody assumed last year would be his last year. He had said that he thought last year would be his last year, and it didn't turn out to be that way. He decided to come back for more, and I think that's a credit.
The only reason why I think Aaron Rodgers wanted to return is because, like I said, the Steelers made it enticing. And it wasn't just me saying that. It was Mina Kimes. Mina Kimes also said that the moves that the Steelers made, it was to bring back Aaron Rodgers. They made it too enticing for him. He looks at the team and thinks, okay, this is a chance to possibly win another Super Bowl. And this is why he's returning.
To the organization, the city, for kind of reigniting the fire, and how much he liked it last year, how much he liked the people there. And the organization really loved having him around. As we talked about in those exit meetings, almost to a man, the players all wanted Aaron Rodgers back for the season, and they've gotten their wish now. He's back for one more at least.
Yeah, fascinating. Why don't you remember that whenever you're putting out your little tweets about Aaron Rodgers going forward? Okay, why don't you remember that, Shefty? Okay, whenever you're putting anything
Remember
out,
what, Pat?
What you just said there at the end. Exit meetings. Every person in the building was like, "We love Aaron Rodgers."
I've said that all along.
No, who's his number, Shefty? You had to say
critical of Aaron Rodgers, and Adam Schefter can be one of them. Adam Schefter, I remember him saying, like, you know, look, he just needs to make a decision. And Tone Diggs, he's a Steelers fan from the Pat McAfee show. He said, you know, he just needs to get out of there. Like, he was critical. He was critical of Aaron Rodgers.
You had to have said something. No, it is crazy though, like how some people have a narrative about Aaron Rodgers, and obviously we've gotten a chance to experience it over the years because we've been very lucky that he would join our show and chit chat with us. But it's like they're obviously, I think was it The Bachelor? What was the show?
Yeah, that did quite the toll.
The Bachelor set him up for failure completely.
I'm telling you, they really do have a narrative about Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people have a narrative about Aaron Rodgers without really knowing who he is. Like, they make all these assumptions about him. And it's like, until you watch every interview with him, until you really get to see his personality and how he really is and thinks, don't make comments about him like that. Because you really are talking nonsense. Like, I've heard so many times, oh, well, his teammates hated him. And I think Pat McAfee talks about this. Hold on, I'm going to let it play.
Obviously, everything that went down there. And if you were him, I think if you heard his side of the story, you'd be pretty pissed off from his side of this whole thing. But there has been a lot of narratives about
the potion,
who he is. Yeah, everything about him. There's been a lot of narratives about who he is as a person. And then everybody but one teammate.
Yeah.
Basically has come out publicly and been like, nah, we love
everybody but one teammate. Y'all, like, what are we talking about here? And I've heard so many times people comment, oh, well, his teammates hated him. One teammate? You're going off of what one teammate said. Really? And it's not even just that, but going back to what Pat McAfee talked about with his brother on The Bachelor. His brother set him up to make him look like a bad guy for clicks, ratings, views, for clout. And that's why Aaron Rodgers was like, yeah, I'm distancing myself from my family. They're trying to capitalize off of my name. I'm going to set a healthy boundary and separate myself from that. I don't blame Aaron Rodgers one bit for doing that. I don't. Because that was just so insulting. Because I'm sure he's done a lot for his family. And then for them to make a move like that, to act like, he was some bad guy, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that whatsoever. But I just feel like, again, there's a lot of narratives, like what Pat McAfee was talking about, on Aaron Rodgers. That's not necessarily fair, because you don't know the whole story about Aaron Rodgers. You don't see the full picture. Do I agree with Aaron Rodgers on everything? Absolutely not. Do I think some of his theories, his conspiracy theories, are a little out there? Yes. Do I think some of them have some sort of truth to it? Yes. But I don't completely write them off. I don't make baseless judgments. This is why I made it a point to really tap into all his interviews, his press conferences, all of that. Because it's like, what's the real truth here? You have to do investigative journalism. You have to. Because if you don't, you're going to end up making claims like those people who say, oh, well, all his teammates hated him. Based off what? Based off what? One teammate? Really?
He's an absolute dog. We love everything about him. I'm appreciative of the fact that he's getting a chance to run it back again over there in Pittsburgh with Mike McCarthy, because how that ended with them at the Packers. Now, they've obviously very much tight. Mike sings his praises on a regular basis. I think they did have a moment where they talked to each other.
It's great for Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers to have mended things. Y'all know my thoughts on Mike McCarthy, right? Like, I just thought this was my grief with Mike McCarthy. I did not like him as an offensive coordinator and head coach. Whenever he wanted to be both head coach and offensive coordinator, it went badly. That's why he got fired from Green Bay. That's why Aaron Rodgers had issues with Mike McCarthy. And then, I thought, okay, well, he's going to try to do the same thing with the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to try to redeem himself and show, hey, you can be head coach and offensive coordinator. Didn't work out with the Cowboys. Now he's with the Steelers. He did hire an offensive coordinator, so I'm hoping things go better with that, right? But I don't know. I can be kind of skeptical when it comes to Mike McCarthy. But I do think this is a better situation for Mike McCarthy. I do. I feel like the team that they have is a better situation for him. I do think that having Aaron Rodgers and having experience working with him is helpful as well. And like I said, they mended things. So that's a good outcome. We'll see what happens with that.
Bury the hatchet almost and move forward. A lot of history together, a lot of reminiscing happening. Obviously, they're both very intelligent individuals, so they'll pick up right where they left off, we assume. I'm pulling for you, Tone. I think this is going to be good for the Steelers. I think this is good news, not just, we'll win 9 games. Like, I think you guys, I don't know what other option.
I agree, and Mike McCarthy gives me the most
See, I'm a little bit of the
confidence in the world.
opposite. I mean, it does give me more confidence, like I said, just because he does have an offensive coordinator with the Steelers right now. So that does make me more hopeful with this situation. Now, if it was Mike McCarthy as head coach, offensive coordinator, that's a different story.
There's some players who have been coming out who've talked about the game plans over the last few years, and that is the opposite of what Mike McCarthy is. Everyone talks about how great his game plans are, and then Patrick Graham being the DC. I do think coaching will give this team an advantage.
And here's another thing, too. I will add this. Aaron Rodgers is better with assessing a defense and making changes. If Aaron Rodgers sees, when he's reading coverage, if he sees one little thing off, he's going to make adjustments and call a different play. He's going to make the right, decision. Dak Prescott couldn't do that. That's why we got so many delay of games. I don't understand why people like Mike McCarthy at the Cowboys. I really don't. I hear a lot of Dallas fans talking about it, and I'm just like, it was not a good fit. It was not a good fit. The delay of games is what ticked me off the most, because I'm like, Dak Prescott can't make those types of changes like Aaron Rodgers. He can't. And it just would frustrate me. But anyways, there's that. Let me go to the drops because we had Derek come into the building. Shout out to Derek. Let me scroll back up here to the messages. So Chelsea with the good posture. Okay. Go to Derek's drop.
Leave Chelsea alone. What's wrong with you, G-Hunter? I'm the one who tells you about your fantasy. Listen. Send me your address so I can send you a rainbow flag. Since you want to look like Alicia Keys. That's okay, man. You can't even grow. You can't even grow enough hair. I'm not accustomed to a man wanting to look like a woman. And you too dark to look like her. Why don't you? You know what? You look like a good Jennifer Hudson. That's what you would look like.
Shout out to you, Derek, for defending me against G. Hudson. And shout out to A-Team in the building. A-Team, I have a drop for you. Let's see. Let me find it. Gotta do some searching here. Auntie A-Team.
Now. Yeah, A-Team, you tell him.
Shout out to A-Team for defending me. She said, hey, leave my snow bunny alone now. Shout out to you, Auntie A-Team. I appreciate you for that. And shout out to your average logical thinker sneaking in here. Let's see. So, what up, Chelsea and Tribe? Let me go to your drop. Y'all go subscribe to your average logical thinker. Great live earlier from your average logical thinker. I always enjoy it.
CDT says I'm going live tonight. I slick was thinking about not, but I'm gonna do it. If you need a break, take a break. Shit. Trust me, we understand. You do's a lot, man. But Chelsea Lynn might break out in the hives if you don't. She gonna be stalking you, man, if you don't. So if you don't do it for nothing else, you better do it for the North Carolina.
Shout out to Mo. She knows me well. I'm telling you, I stalk that page from CDT Beats. When it hits 7 o'clock, I start looking if he's scheduled a live yet. That's usually when I start stalking his page for a scheduled live. But shout out to CDT Beats. I think he'll be live later. I hope he's live later. All right. moving on to the next one from Speakeasy on Aaron Rodgers. They had an interesting take on this. They had an interesting one. It was kind of the opposite of what McAfee Cast was talking about.
On a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers worth $22 million guaranteed for the 42-year-old. $3 million in incentives are available. The four-time league MVP is heading into his 22nd season in the National Football League and is going to be turning 43 this December, fellas.
Dang.
I mean, this is crazy.
22nd season? Dang, I think, when did he enter? He entered, like, in 2005? There ain't no way. Are kids born in 2005 turning 22? There's no way. There ain't no way. That can't be. Was it 2005 when he entered? It can't be his 22nd season. Because I have a cousin, y'all. She was born in 2006, and nothing makes me feel old as to seeing my little cousin, like, grow up and it's crazy. It's like, what do you call it? Twilight Zone? I don't know. Okay, they would be 17. That's what I was thinking. And I want to say that Aaron Rodgers entered the draft, and let me look. I'm going to Google it real quick. Because I want to say that Aaron Rodgers entered the draft in 2005. When did Aaron Rodgers get drafted? 2005. 2005. So how could he be on his 22nd season? Am I tripping? I'm trying to figure that math out. The math ain't mathing for me on that one, y'all. If they said 22nd season, maybe I know what it probably was. Maybe he read the number 22 and his mind went to 22nd. Maybe that's what it was. Because there ain't no way he was on his 22nd season. Anyways, back to it.
Million guaranteed. Do you guys like this Rodgers-Mike McCarthy reunion happening right now in Pittsburgh?
2-5, I like it because the Steelers needed a quarterback for a year. While I believe Drew Aller, they got in the third round. Kieran, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They needed a quarterback for a year while Drew Aller matures. Mike McCarthy doesn't necessarily love.
So they're talking about Drew, the other quarterback. They're not talking about Will Howard, which I find interesting.
Rookie quarterbacks. Remember, there's Aaron Rodgers who got to develop under Brett Favre. When Mike McCarthy went to Dallas with Dak Prescott, Jason Garrett had helped develop Dak Prescott. Mike McCarthy.
It's interesting. He said Jason Garrett got to help develop Dak Prescott. He didn't mention Tony Romo. You know, Dak Prescott sat under Tony Romo, and I think, Tony Romo played a big part in helping him.
His ripe old age. He doesn't have time to try to train a rookie and go through the full fire with the rookie. Let Aaron Rodgers, to some degree, train the rookie. Let Drew Aller learn from one of the best. You saw how Jordan Love learned from one of the best, and how Jordan Love, inevitably, by the time he became a starter, he was a playoff caliber quarterback.
And I did hear, I can't remember who it was from, but one of these NFL insiders had said that Aaron Rodgers was really good at helping these younger QBs. People make Aaron Rodgers look to be the bad guy. He's really not. He's really not. You had one teammate, like I said earlier, you had one teammate speak out against Aaron Rodgers. The rest sing his praises. They really enjoy Aaron Rodgers, and they think he's a great guy. Do they agree with him on everything? No, but they don't consider him to be the enemy, like people assume. So, Aaron Rodgers, I really think he makes an impact on these younger players, even the wide receivers. He gives them, good information on what a quarterback really needs and expects to an NFL standard. And you look at what he taught Jordan Love. I mean, it speaks for itself.
This is a great stopgap for the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers ain't leading the Steelers to nobody's Super Bowl. We got those hopes up last year, but I do believe with...
And I disagree with Acho here. I don't ever count anybody out. That is the worst thing you could do as a sports fan, is underestimate a team. Count out a team. Let's see, what's this say? Sorry, I got distracted by my banner, y'all. But don't count out a team. So I'm not counting out the Steelers. They made decent changes. and I'm excited to see what happens.
Receiver formerly from the Steelers, that is DK Metcalf. Receiver formerly from the Colts, Michael Pittman. I do believe, like, the Steelers have a formidable...
you, BDB. I'll send you information. And y'all, go subscribe to BDB. I will be a guest judge this Saturday for Battle of the Bars? Battle of the Bars. But I will be a guest on BDB's channel. Y'all go subscribe to him, me, Your Average Logical Thinker, Cree. Those are the three that I know, but we're going to be guest judges on his show.
You go out there with Michael Pittman plus DK Metcalf, you have enough offense to win 9 games. And if you win 9 games, you'll be in the hunt with 3 games remaining to 5. They'll probably be somewhere between the 6th seed and the 9th seed, trying to get to the 7th seed and above. So
I like this move though for a couple of reasons. One is Justin Fields.
Yep.
What did the Jets pay him? $30 million or $20 million?
$30 million, I believe. 20 guaranteed.
Dang, they paid.
So I like.
Did the Chiefs pay him $30 million? I didn't realize that.
Okay. So Matt, I'm trying to show the viewers like the money for the quarterbacks.
Yep.
If you're gonna pay Justin Fields $20 million, you can argue paying an old Aaron Rodgers 1 year for $22 million. That's one. Number 2 is he's getting back with McCarthy, right? Them two together did some great things, and if you really know who Mike McCarthy really is, he's really good at the.
Here. I disagree here. Let me just say this. I mean, at one point in time, did they do great things together? Yes. But eventually, that relationship went south, y'all. Aaron Rodgers was calling his own plays. Aaron Rodgers was the reason they won that Super Bowl. Everybody talked about it. This is why Mike McCarthy ended up getting pushed out and fired, because it was really Aaron Rodgers in control of that offense. And Aaron Rodgers, they got to the point he's like, I can't do this anymore. Y'all gonna have to give me a different coach. So I disagree with him on that. I do think, since they mended things and it's a better situation now, that it is very hopeful for the Steelers. But I'm just gonna disagree with him on that point about, they did great things together, maybe early on, especially like when Brett Favre was there, maybe early on. But eventually that was not it.
Offense, especially with the quarterbacks. So I'm only going to talk about just the offensive side of the ball, because last year defense was not that good at all. People don't want to talk about it, but they weren't. I think with the offensive side of the ball, with the type of pieces that they have on offense, they're going to make some noise. And for the offense side of the ball, I think they'll do better. I think, Aaron, you'll see him more comfortable.
I don't know. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't know what he has. Is DK Metcalf still there? I want to say DK Metcalf is still there. I don't know what he has. I do. I lied. I do know a little bit. They have Bernard. Shout out Bernard. Roll Tide to him. Here's my thing with Bernard, and I mentioned this before. Drop passes, y'all. He really struggled with drop passes. And depending on how Aaron Rodgers spins that ball, because, sometimes you have quarterbacks who put a lot of force into it, and you gotta make those catches, like, quick. Like, you gotta have quick hands and be able to, pause on this. Let me pause, but grip the ball. You have to really be able to grip the ball, okay? Pause. Because I know some of y'all are immature, but that's going to be my thing is, you're going to have to get Bernard up to speed and comfortable with the type of passes that Aaron Rodgers makes. Because I don't want to see no drop passes.
And also with the offensive line, they are adjusting to that point of the team. In defense, they got to figure that part out. But offensive-wise, I love this move for the Steelers.
Can I ask y'all this? Do you think that...
I don't know what they got on defense, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I know that there was talks, I can't remember who it was. There was a lot of talks about players retiring along with Mike McCarthy, all sorts of stuff. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but what I do know is Aaron Rodgers is returning, and Bernard. And I'm trying to think of who else. And maybe DK Metcalf, but
him and his relationship with Mike McCarthy being his coach prior is going to get him to be a little more involved in the offseason. getting more of a rhythm with these guys, or is this just something that we're just not going to see out of Aaron Rodgers anymore?
I think it's less involved in the offseason because Mike McCarthy, at least now you know the offense. So if you're Aaron Rodgers, what the hell?
How can he be any less involved?
I mean, number one, he's not going to be at OTAs. He probably won't be at mandatory minicamp, and then he won't get fined for not being at mandatory minicamp because Mike McCarthy will just excuse the fine. Remember, Aaron Rodgers is doing Mike McCarthy more of a solid.
I'm telling you, if there's one thing that Aaron Rodgers doesn't like, it's all these little, early rookie types of events. Like, really things a veteran QB like Aaron Rodgers doesn't necessarily have to be at. So, what Acho's saying, like, he'll likely miss some of those, I agree with Acho on that, because he's made it clear before that he does not like stuff like that. And, Mike McCarthy will likely excuse it.
Mike McCarthy is doing Aaron Rodgers. Sure, Aaron Rodgers might want to play another year, but he surely doesn't need $22 million. What Mike McCarthy needs is a winning season. Because Mike Tomlin can't have 17 consecutive non-losing seasons. Mike McCarthy, you show up and you instantly go 6-11. Like, that's what can't happen.
Furthermore, I do agree with Acho on this. Mike McCarthy can't have a losing season. Not with his track record, y'all. Not with his track record. Went badly with Green Bay. Went badly with Dallas. And he cannot have a losing season. I'm telling you, if he has a losing season with the Steelers, considering everything that Mike Tomlin did, it ain't gonna be good. I promise you that.
The backup quarterbacks: Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, or a rookie Drew Aller. Also, don't want to have that. Last thing I'll say is, Shady, correct me if I'm wrong. This is probably the best Steelers skill group since 2019. Michael Pittman, DK Metcalf, Rico Dowdle, Jalen Warren. Like, realistically speaking, this is probably the Steelers' best skill group since AB, Le'Veon, Juju. Like, the Steelers haven't had this good skill group.
That's why I said offensively they're going to do good. You got them pieces over there. Aaron's familiar with McCarthy. And McCarthy's a good coach. People forget over at the Cowboys. Yeah, 12-game wins.
Right, 3 in a row.
I disagree. I disagree, especially with the Cowboys. Whenever those pieces were missing, Mike McCarthy wasn't doing that great. Plus, he pushed out Kellen Moore, the offensive coordinator. That's really when things started to go badly for him. And then you had Kellen Moore turn around and win a Super Bowl as offensive coordinator with the Eagles. No, I disagree with you. I disagree with you on that.
They're going to do good offensively. I am worried about that defense because...
Just do not bring up McCarthy when it comes to Dallas. Just don't do it, okay? It really wasn't as great as what people think, okay? It wasn't all that, okay? I can promise you that.
Be dominant last year, and they weren't. They had a whole bunch of names. So I do think that the offense will be a lot better with Mike McCarthy.
What's interesting, to Shady's point, but more
I think
than
Aaron
ever...
Rodgers helps the offense more than Mike McCarthy. I do. I think Aaron Rodgers, this is why they wanted Aaron Rodgers to come back. That's why they made it enticing for him to come back. They added all these different changes to the team to make it enticing for Aaron Rodgers' return, right? So I think Aaron Rodgers has more of an impact on that than Mike McCarthy. And they talked about Aaron Rodgers really developing these younger QBs. He's going to have more of an impact, in my opinion, than Mike McCarthy.
Steelers don't really have a weakness by name defensively. Here's their starting defense: Jalen Ramsey, Jamel Dean, Jaquan Brisker, Deshaun Elliott, Joey Porter,
Highsmith.
Malik.
So we're getting into some of the pieces that Steelers have on defense.
Harrison, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Derek Harmon, and betting it knows. Like, when you hear the DBs, all solid, and all have played at a very high level. I think Jamel Dean's won a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jaquan Brisker played at a really high level for the Bears last year. Linebacking core, solid. Played at a high level, all of them. Defensive line, edge rushers, played at a high level, all of them. The question for me, though, is like, what's the point? What's the point? Is Aaron Rodgers just going to keep the Steelers in purgatory? Are the Steelers going to win enough games where they can't draft high, but not enough games to where they make a legitimate playoff push? Like,
Acho makes a good point here. Is this a team? I do think that the Steelers think that this is a good enough team considering what they have to make a potential run for a Super Bowl. I do strongly believe that. I think that was the point of all of this. And that was the point of getting Aaron Rodgers to return on top of developing these younger QBs, right? But is it that? Is it good enough? You got to look at this, the schedule's a factor, all of that. And if it's not, it's like, what's the point? Because you're just going to hurt yourself in the draft. I don't know. It's too similar to Dallas. It's always the same struggle with the Dallas Cowboys is, what's the point? That's why I'm saying this is why, I have the biggest issue with the whole Pickens situation. What's the point? If you don't think you're going to make it to a Super Bowl, what's the point of, making a potential playoff run and then going lower in the draft? What's the point? Why not just get the draft picks? Why not just trade the player? You see what I'm saying?
Kieran, if you're a fan, because you can give us the best fan perspective, if you're a Steelers fan, would this excite you, or would you be like, man, I'd rather see the young Drew Aller and either let's go 3-14 and he'll grow, or does this excite you?
The Mike McCarthy hire was probably the least exciting thing that could have happened after letting Mike Tomlin go, because I don't feel like you're really upgrading at that position. I think with Aaron Rodgers coming back, yeah, it heightens the floor. But also, I don't think Steelers fans think that they're going to go win a Super Bowl this year or compete for one. So it's like,
and I disagree with that. I do think that they can win a Super Bowl. I think this is why they brought back Aaron Rodgers. I think this is why they added in Mike McCarthy. I think this is why they made all the other changes to the team, because they do want to give themselves the best chance of winning the Super Bowl. I think they have a chance. I haven't looked at the Steelers' schedule, but depending on what that schedule is, would be very telling to me if they have a chance or not. Obviously, you really don't know until you see that first game. But, I do think that the Steelers, assume that they do have a good chance of making it to a Super Bowl. Why else, would they want to have Mike McCarthy, bring Aaron Rodgers back, and then have all these changes to the team? It's like, I think they did what they thought was best for a Super Bowl.
We do it. We're patching something up to have a potential 9-8 season, a potential 10-7 season, a possible wild card season.
You said I told G. Hudson that Rodgers wasn't going to help his team. Derek, I know that you're a Bengals fan, so you really can't stand the Steelers, but I do think that Aaron Rodgers, we'll see how it goes. If he stays healthy, if all the right changes are, made, and they have great chemistry, I do think they have a great chance with Aaron Rodgers. Here's what I told G. Hudson. I said, you better bank on Aaron Rodgers returning. And he was like, nah, Aaron Rodgers is not coming back. He has one arm. He's retiring. He's out. He's not coming back. And I told him, I said, you better start appreciating your quarterback, because that's who's coming back, as Aaron Rodgers. Sure enough, here we are. So shout out to me for being right on that.
For what? I don't really get it. I think it's time to move forward, and I don't like Mike McCarthy doing Aaron Rodgers a solid here. Aaron Rodgers doing Mike McCarthy a solid here and trying to save his reputation. Dude, you're supposed to rebuild it. You're supposed to build it in your image. And if you suck the first couple of years, then cool.
I think Care Bear makes a good point here. It's like, why is Aaron Rodgers having to come back to save the team? It's like Aaron Rodgers has always been put in a situation where he ends up having to save Mike McCarthy's career. And I feel like it should be sink or swim for Mike McCarthy. Prove to us that you really can coach. I need to see it, because I have not seen it in a long time. And, now you have Aaron Rodgers coming back. Will it be just on Aaron Rodgers? If the Steelers do have success, would it be because of solely on Aaron Rodgers' return, or will it be because of Mike McCarthy? I would have to assume Aaron Rodgers.
To the Cowboys, we stunk the first year. We were bad, and then we ended up winning 12 games back to back. You know what I mean? So, to me, I don't really I don't really get it. It doesn't seem like they're moving forward. Also, I don't like to be honest with you, I sure they have some offensive skill position players that they added and whatnot. Michael Pittman, I think, is a really solid receiver, and he was good for the Indianapolis Colts, but he's not that exciting to me. I think they need to do better at drafting offensive players first and foremost. But then this just isn't. If I'm a Pittsburgh fan, I'm not encouraged by this at all.
I disagree. I think the Steelers fans should be encouraged. How could it not be encouraging to have Aaron Rodgers returning? Building these younger quarterbacks, all the changes you made for the offense, plus, Ocho mentioned the defense is being pretty solid. So, I don't know about that one, Care Bear.
Your expectations for the Steelers this year? Is it wild card? Is it, hell, compete for the division? Is it win a playoff game? Is it?
I think it's all them things though. I think with Mike McCarthy as the coach, all the pieces they have on the offensive side, if the defense plays ball like their names say on the back of their jerseys, I think they go to the playoffs. I think they compete for their division, like 1 or 2 games type win their division because they are good, and it's a hard division. And I think they win the playoff game. All them things can be true. I do believe that. And I think they'll be a good team.
Now, I agree with him on that. I do think that they're going to be a good team. We'll see, of course, when the rubber hits the road, or as I like to say, when the cleats hit the turf. We'll see.
Now, I don't care who the coach is. I didn't think they're going to win the AFC and
That's
go to the
I don't care who the coach is, but I disagree with him on that. I mean, never say never. Like, it could be they go to the AFC.
Super Bowl. I don't think that. I don't think the Steelers are doing that, no matter who the coach is. But I do think they're going to be more improved offensively. All these years, I thought the offense was the issue.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now, with Mark McCarthy there, with the weapons there, Aaron with McCarthy, I see them winning the playoff game. I think they can win their division. I believe that.
Okay, so I'm confused by what he said. He said at first they wouldn't win a division, and then at the end he says, I do think they could win a division. So I don't know which is it. But me personally, I think they are contenders. Like, of course, we'll see when the cleats hit the turf if that ends up coming to fruition. But I do think, as of right now, early prediction, they do have a shot. All right, let me go to my drops because we had more people come into the building, like BDB. Shout out to you, BDB. And like I said, I will be a guest on his channel for Battle of the Bars. And let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. Mo, your average logical thinker, she'll be a guest judge. Cree will be a guest judge. So shout out to that. All right, let me find his drop here. BDB. Here we go.
How you feeling? How you living?
Shout out to BDB. How you feeling? How you living? All right. Oh, yeah, and shout out to you, Momo. I have a drop for you, too. Let me go back to my drops here. Sorry, guys. Gotta shout out Momo. Momo Rants. Search for your drop. I think I passed it. Here we go.
The diabetes chicken made by Lloyd, and like the Cowboys, it sucks ass. Ace, it is like sorrow and sewage. This shit not fit for a raccoon.
Shout out to you, Momo. All right. Moving on to the Eagles, y'all. The Eagles schedule.
Philadelphia Eagles had a very interesting schedule. This is what it looks like. Commanders, Titans, Bears, Rams, Jags, Panthers, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants, Steelers, Cowboys on Thanksgiving, Colts, Cardinals, Seahawks on a Saturday. They also play on Christmas Eve against the Texans. Very fun game. At the 49ers, and then finish off their season at the Giants. Eagles fans talking about their last stretch of games. A long flight to Arizona on week 14, short week versus Seattle on a Saturday. Christmas Eve game versus the Texans 5 days later, and then fly across America to San Francisco for Sunday Night Football. Cry me a damn river. It's the NFL, for Christ's sake. What are we doing? How many wins do you...
Eagles' schedule is very promising for a Super Bowl. I do.
guys think the Eagles will have this season?
Kieran, take me back to the Eagles schedule.
Yeah, got you.
Rome, take this full, at least put me in it as well if y'all can in the back, Taylor. Eagles are going 11-7 this year, and I think it's a pretty decisive and conclusive 11-7. You're going to beat the Commanders week 1. Jaden Daniels hadn't played in a long while. 11-6. I think it's a pretty decisive and conclusive 11-6.
I don't like the doubt. It seems like the Commanders are getting a lot of doubt put on them. I'm not a fan of that. I don't feel like the Commanders should be doubted. I mean, I would have to look more into what they have, I feel like, who did they draft? I can't even remember now. But I feel like they did make decent changes. So I really don't like the fact that Jaden Daniels and Dan Quinn and the Commanders are getting doubted.
Eagles will go. You're going to beat the Commanders week 1. You're going to beat the Titans week 2. Chicago Bears, Rams, Jags. I believe you're going to start the season probably around 4-2. You might lose to the Jags, or you might lose to the Rams, or you might lose to the Cowboys. But either way, you're going to start there right around 4-2. You're going to beat the Panthers. Then you get to the Commanders again. I believe you're going to
the Jags. Man, that'll be a shootout. That'll be a good game early on.
in that game, you're going to beat the Giants. So through 9 weeks, I see the Philadelphia Eagles at 6-3. T, you have any issues with that? 6-3. One losses. Bears, Rams.
Between the Bears, Rams, Jags, Cowboys, I believe they only lose 2 of those games.
Really?
I have to
Bears.
agree with him. I have to agree with TJ. What is up, Eric Jordan? I will play your drop. Shout out to the CDL game. Hold on. Okay, I'm at 136 here. Let me go to your drop. Eric Jordan.
Why are you fumbling my football?
My blockers were built.
Your blockers ain't got nothing to do with you holding the ball. Did your blockers fumble the football or did you fumble the football?
I did, sir.
All right, how many feet are in a mile? How many feet are in a mile? 5,280 feet. You pick this ball up, you run every one of them. You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me.
You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me. And shout out to you, Eric Jordan, being the CDL gang.
Hey, boy, do it to it. Hey.
All right, shout out to you.
Just
all right, let me go back to where we were at here. There we go.
Bears, Rams, Jags, Cowboys, I believe they only lose 2 of those games.
Really?
Yeah.
Bears, Rams, Jags, Cowboys. Only
They'll lose 2 of the 4.
Problem. You see the Commanders twice. I think they split.
Yeah, they'll split with the
You
Commanders.
think that's 3 losses?
They'll split with the Commanders.
So those are my 3 losses.
Now, if Jaden
And
Daniels
it's
is
better
healthy,
to take a loss early than to have it later, right? And I feel like this is what the Eagles do. The Eagles take a loss early, but when the game matters, they win. They have proven they can win. So I feel like their schedule sets them up for a Super Bowl. I do.
and that Week 8 game he's available, yeah, I can see that.
Fair. So that's where I'm at. You're 6-3 at the bye week. Steelers you're beating 7-3. Cowboys at Dallas Thanksgiving. That's going to be tough. I think the Cowboys win. You're 7-4. You're beating the Colts. You're 8-4. You're beating the Cardinals. You're 9-4. You're probably losing to the Seahawks. You're 9-5.
I don't think that's a guaranteed win. I don't know what the Steelers have. Like, we'll have to wait and see. But it's very rare you have a team, a Super Bowl team, go back to back, right? So I don't know. I don't know. They have a new offensive coordinator, right? Like, you make changes to the team. You lose players that you had from like 1-year deals. All of that is a factor. So I don't know if that Seahawks game is a guarantee. I'm wondering if the Eagles don't beat the Seahawks.
You're probably losing to the you're home against the Texans. You're 10-5. You're probably losing to the Niners. You're 10-6. You're beating the Giants. You're 11-6.
I think they'll beat the Seahawks. I don't believe the Seahawks new offensive style.
TJ's agreeing with me. Is he's asking the same questions I'm asking. It's like, with all the changes that the Seahawks are going to have to go through, it's like, do they win that game? I don't know. I don't think so.
Believe they're going to be what they were last year. They're losing to the Texans for sure. Unless the Texans just shit the bed. Man, the Texans have
at home though.
I don't give a damn.
You're at home on Christmas Eve.
I don't care where they playing at.
Ooh.
That Texans defense.
Man,
what they gonna do?
I ain't gonna hold y'all. I do like the Texans because they do have Will Anderson Jr. Shout out Will Anderson Jr. Played for Alabama, Roll Tide. But man, I hope that the Texans do well. Because of that.
If everybody is healthy and there's no catastrophic injury to one of those DNs or just anybody on defense, they so loaded, they're winning that. They're not losing back-to-back games against the Seahawks, Texans, and then you have to go play a really good 49er team, or what we perceive to be a really good 49er team. So they'll go 2-1. They may lose one of the last four. They'll lose one of the last 4 games.
See, I think they lose 2 of the last 4 games. Here's why. Week 14, y'all pay close attention to the schedule on your screens. Week 14, you're at
Hold
Arizona.
on, I gotta zoom in to see the schedule. Let's see. Commanders, Titans, Bears. Now, the Bears, I'm not so sure that that's a guarantee win. But like I said, it's better to take the losses early than later on in the schedule. Hold on, let's see what he's going to say, though.
From Philly to Arizona. Then you play 5 days later. On Saturday, you play at home against Seattle. So now you fly back, short week against Seattle. After you play on Saturday, you have a shorter week because now you're playing on Christmas Eve. I believe that's another 5 days later. You're playing on Christmas Eve against the Texans.
But at least you're at home.
You know, that's a short time to like heal, recover, you know, go through the whole process over again. You got to consider that a factor.
You're at home.
But then you go back to out west, you go back to the Bay.
It's Christmas Eve. So how many days between Christmas Eve until they play the 49ers?
Kieran, let me get that. What day is Christmas Eve?
Christmas Eve, December 24th?
No.
I'm joking.
What day of the week is it?
It's a Thursday.
So
Thursday
exactly.
night.
So now you have basically a mini bye week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So now playing the Texans on Christmas Eve and then having to play the Niners, you're fine.
Here's my problem with
10-day break.
My problem with what you're saying is this. The Seahawks, the Texans, the Niners all made it further than the Eagles in the playoffs last year.
Yes.
I do not believe that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to play Seahawks, Texans, Niners, and win 2 of those 3 games. Because if they
Seahawks,
do...
Texans, Niners. So I would say you beat the Seahawks. Texans is questionable. And then I would say 49ers you beat. That's what I would say. Early prediction here.
What's going to happen? You're either going to have a letdown against the Cardinals beforehand, or you're going to have a letdown against the Giants afterwards. But T, it's going to be incredibly difficult to play lock in and play the Seahawks. Okay, we win. Lock in and play the Texans. Somehow we win. Lock in and play the Niners. Okay, come on, T.
See, but
that's
you think Seattle's going to be better than I do. And so
yeah,
I don't believe it.
That Seattle's going to be better. And I don't. History has proven it's very difficult to maintain that success coming off of a Super Bowl win. So that's why I'm questioning if the Seahawks will have that same momentum as last season, winning a Super Bowl, coming off of a Super Bowl.
We got to lock in and play Seattle. Losing Kubiak, to me, is a big deal.
What about the Seahawks defense? Eagles
it's going to
offense
present problems, but if you can't score, all we got to do is get 14, 17
And here's my
points.
thing, too, is you got to think, Jalen Hurts is used to having different offensive coordinators, getting readjusted. He's true to it, not new to it, right? Throughout his whole career, that's all he's been accustomed to, even in college. And then some say, I didn't follow his high school career, but people say that he went through the same thing in high school. But I can only speak to what I've seen from his college days and then in the NFL. Now, can Sam Darnold, you got to think Sam Darnold, I don't know what he had at the Vikings. And then he also, wait, was Sam Darnold at the Vikings? I can't even remember what team he was with now. Whoever Sam Darnold was with previously, right? depending on if he had a consistent offensive coordinator there, and then going to the Seahawks, now having to get readjusted to a new offense, can he maintain that like Jalen Hurts can? I don't know. We're going to find out.
Here's my question, OG. How are the Eagles going to be able to score? A.J. Brown, assume he is gone. Mekhi Lemon? Against who?
And this is where I disagree with Acho. I really think, and I'm hoping, I said this before, I said this many times, clock it, y'all. I really hope that the Eagles can prove that you can be successful without a larger wide receiver. Like, you can get it with a smaller wide receiver. I really hope that the Eagles prove that. I do.
With a spoon? Make that make sense. How the Eagles finna score? Like, Saquon Barkley, good luck. Jeff Stoutland gone.
I will say this, too, is Ocho from Nightcap, not to get confused with Ocho, but Ocho from Nightcap, he's talked about those shifty wide receivers. He said, speaking on the Eagles, it's good to have those shifty wide receivers. They can make contested catches. They can accomplish things. So I really don't like the doubt that these smaller wide receivers are getting.
But they gotta, if they lose or win, they're losing to the Texans. Unless
something happens. But let me push back on that, and I'm curious your thoughts. Until C.J. Stroud shows me at an NFL level he can win on the road in the cold. At the NFL level, don't talk to me about Ohio State. I was talking to an analyst at the game when the Texans played the Patriots, and he texted me before the game. He said, it's cold as hell out here.
Neither here nor there. I feel like the reason why C.J. Stroud struggled is because you got to think their run game was weak. They made changes for the run game. I feel like they're going to be better. It's going to be more beneficial to C.J. Stroud. That's just my opinion.
Had some fumbling issues during pat and go, and during before the game ever starts. Offenses, they do all these different type of drills. He's like, man, CJ struggling holding the ball. Go into the game, CJ throws I think 4 picks, fumbles 2 snaps. Until CJ Stroud shows me he can play on the road in the cold at the professional level, I'm going to have a hard time just saying, yeah, he finna win.
You know what they need to do? We did this in high school this year.
Okay.
So leading up to our first playoff game at Santa Margarita, we were playing Sierra Canyon. In the forecast, I don't know if you remember, was crazy rain. They should have canceled all the games. It was that type of weather. It was terrible. But the week leading up to it was great weather, sunny, 80 degrees every day.
Yep.
Every single snap, we sprayed the ball with water. Every single snap. That's what we did for practice. I say that to say
that's good insight. And I feel like who was it? It could have been Belichick, one of the coaches. He would do things like that to get you accustomed to being prepared for games in inclement weather. You have to do that. You have to do that to prepare your team. I love hearing little stories about that, though. Little inside knowledge.
What they're going to have to do is get a little freezer on the sideline, put the balls in the freezer, and every snap, with a new ball. Because if you get used to it in practice,
ooh,
you're
that's good. That's good game. Is like I said, practices where you be prepared for inclement weather. So you're spraying down the ball for anticipation of rain. You're putting the ball in the freezer for anticipation of cold weather. Just things like that to prepare you.
How to handle it during the game. If the temperature shows in Philly that it's going to be very inclement weather, where snow, rain, whatever, you got to have to prepare yourself. And, we as players, we don't want to practice in that type of weather. You got to get outside.
I would have to assume they do the same thing with kickers, right? I would have to assume they bring in the largest fan possible to be prepared for wind. And I'm pretty sure they probably have a measurement for it and everything. I'm pretty sure they probably go all out. They have a measurement to track what the speed is for the fan so they can accommodate to prepare for what the potential wind gusts will be. Man, just little details like that I love.
And you have to put yourself in that situation.
Can I jump in here?
Please do, sir.
This schedule's got me excited, man. I'm licking my damn chops.
As a Cowboys fan.
As a Cowboys
He's
fan,
crazy.
I'm telling you right now.
We're gonna get into it, but they're crazy. Well, mainly Care Bear. What he has to say with the Cowboys schedule, crazy.
We play them for the first time week 7, Monday Night Football. That 4th loss of the season through 7 weeks, and we're about to hand the Philadelphia Eagles is going to hit like that crack that Ronald Reagan put in the black community in the 80s. I'm telling you.
Care Bear was wild for saying that, y'all. Wild for saying that. Kind of made me think of the show Snowfall.
Right now, brother. This is a hard schedule.
So you
an
saying
extremely
they're going to lose
hard
4
schedule.
out of 5 games?
I'm saying they're going 10-7 this season.
Who they losing to?
I think they're a wild card
week
team.
3. So they losing to the Bears, Rams, Jags, Cowboys. That's what
them,
you're saying.
I got them losing to the Bears. I got them losing to the Rams.
Now, I
got
could
them
agree
losing
with him potentially on the Bears, but here's my thing with the Bears is a lot of people have skepticism for what they did in the draft. I don't know if there's, some sort of like calculation for the madness. I don't know, but we'll see. I'm not going to count out Caleb Williams. I'm not.
The Jags at the Jags' future home stadium out there in London, and then I got them coming back with all of it on the line, with the whole division seeming out of balance, and only week 7, I got them losing to the Dallas Cowboys at home. I cannot wait to strike a spear straight through the heart of that Philadelphia Eagles organization, and I love the way the schedule is set up.
Here's
Those
what
are 3 hard games they got to play.
Cowboys and the Eagles will split this year, and anybody saying otherwise is a lie. They always split. They gonna split.
Okay.
But
Yeah, the chances of it being a complete sweep is not likely.
Jags before I give you the Rams. Reason I can't give you the Rams, Eagles have beat the Rams 3 times in the last 2 years. Beat them at home, beat them on the road. Beat them in the playoffs, beat them in the regular season. Cool. Beat them with Stafford, beat them without Stafford. Beat them with Verse, beat them without. They beat them.
Yep. Shout out to those Ravens, y'all. Shout out to the Ravens. I like the Ravens. I won't be mad if they win, if they beat us, which I likely think they will. But I won't be mad about it. I love Derrick Henry, Roll Tide, love Lamar Jackson. So either way, it's not gonna be a big deal to me. Do I want to see my Cowboys win? Of course. But like I said, I just believe it when I see it when it comes to the Cowboys.
Who came to the rescue when they needed them?
They needed miracles to win some of those.
AJ Brown.
Yeah. They don't have that.
Yeah.
We assume
they're
not going to have that.
Yeah.
And I could care less whether you have AJ Brown or you don't. I just hope that the Eagles prove you can be successful with these smaller wide receivers. You don't need a large wide receiver to succeed. I just really hope that the Eagles prove that. I do, because I really cannot stand them getting underestimated just based off their wide receivers. I can't. And it's like Ocho, not to be confused again with Ocho, but it's like what Ocho talked about. You need those shifty wide receivers, and they still can make those contested catches. So I don't know. I just have a difficult time believing that they're not going to succeed with smaller wide receivers.
Say big miss that game on the line. They just throwing balls at AJ, and he was being uncommon.
Yeah.
But everybody can't do that. And
they're acting like AJ was really involved in the game this past season, and he wasn't. And that's why AJ wants out, because he wasn't getting the stats that he wanted. So they really already kind of proved that you really don't need that. You don't need that larger wide receiver, because they were having success running the ball with Saquon Barkley, having success with Devontae Smith, and then also, I can't remember their tight end's name, but, I feel like they had success with him. So they really proved that they don't necessarily have to have a wide receiver like A.J. Brown. So what are we talking about?
No, Jalen Hurts, he playing for a contract extension. Because the Eagles have basically said, we want him to prove himself again. So Jalen Hurts is going to be motivated more than ever.
I'm telling you, there's one quarterback who can withstand the fire underneath his tushy. It's him, okay? He can do it. He can withstand the heat. He can withstand the pressure. He always is proving the haters and the doubters wrong. Always. He's done that since his college career.
Wild card team, fellas.
A wild card?
The Philadelphia Eagles are a wild card team.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now.
Kieran is.
I can't help but laugh like these guys because I'm just like, like TJ. I'm just like, how? How? Care Bear. Keep in mind, Care Bear is a Dallas fan like me. I feel like he's a little delusional here. If you look at that Eagles schedule, it's very promising towards the Eagles.
It's impossible. It's a guess.
That's not a guess. That's my prediction. The Cowboys are winning the division this year. I'm telling you right now.
It's just not a
the NFC East has been out of balance too long. This is a division for like a decade that had a different winner every single year.
Poohman, you said, Chelsea, Tom Brady already proved you can win with the small wide receivers. He changed the game with the small wide receivers and tight ends. I'm trying to think. I would have to go back and research. I'm trying to think of if Tom Brady really did have smaller wide receivers, though. I would have to go back and look. Maybe you can tell me, Poohman. But I'm trying to think of what wide receivers, like all the wide receivers he had that was small. And no matter what, he did have a tight end like Gronk, who was considered, larger. So I'm just trying to think, did he ever have that? But still, yeah, that's the same with what Jalen Hurts has. Like, you still have the tight ends. And tight ends, you normally have to have a tight end that's a little bit larger in size, right? So it's like, why do you have to absolutely have a wide receiver like A.J. Brown? It just makes no sense to me.
Straight years, Philadelphia Eagles? Sorry, something's got to correct itself. I think the Eagles are still going to be a damn good team. I think they're going to be able to play these teams close. They're going 10-7, and they're going to be a wild card team. They're not winning this division this year.
He's crazy for that. Why would you? I mean, of course, I have to see when the cleats hit the turf how it really goes for the Eagles. But for right now, going off what they have right now, early prediction, to say that is insane to me. And you look at their schedule. Like Panthers, Arizona, and, Rams, like, just teams like that, it's like, I don't see how you think they're going to probably take a loss. I don't know.
3 years straight. Does not happen. I've been watching this division since I was a fetus.
Oh, let me
Y'all
correct
understand.
myself.
It doesn't happen.
The Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, because, it's very difficult, like I said, to maintain the success of a Super Bowl team. Like, coming off of a Super Bowl win is very difficult to maintain that success. So to say that they would lose to the Seahawks plus, the Rams, here's my thing with the Rams. The early prediction right now is that the Rams have the highest chance of winning the division. Well, we'll see how it goes. I'm a little bit doubtful of that one, but that's the early prediction.
If they do, then it's now the Cowboys. You're not stopping them on offense unless
That's what I'm saying.
Guys get in. You're not stopping them on offense. I don't care who they play. They going up and down the field.
If you think the Cowboys win the division, let's get to the Cowboys
Okay, now
schedule.
we're going to get into the Cowboys schedule. Let's see. We had Go Cree Cree show up. Shout out to you, Go Cree Cree. Let me play your drop. Y'all go subscribe to Go Cree Cree. Had a fun live last night, as always. Let's see. I might have passed it. Oh, no, I didn't.
Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
Yes, I know the Muffin Man. Who lives on Drury Lane?
Shout out to you, Go Cree Cree.
Philadelphia Eagles had a very interesting schedule.
My bad, y'all. I was replaying that video. All right, let's see what else y'all had to say. Ooh, before I get into what's going on with the Dallas schedule, let me bring you guys to this. Okay, let's see. You said, okay, yeah. Yep, that's right. Drift Sports, you're right on that one. Okay. So, got some drama, y'all. Got some drama. Let me play my CDT beats in the background. Got some drama going on. So, y'all know that Dak's ex-fiance now, called off the wedding right before they were supposed to get married. That's her on the very far end. That's Sarah, right? Well, Dak was spotted with Sarah's bridesmaid. That's her, the bridesmaid. I'm telling you, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And I did some research. I did some, investigative journalism here to find this story for y'all, right? So apparently, this is based off what the comments that I've seen, doing my research. They knew each other since college. She came out and she said that she's very much single. She has a Raya. For those of you who are not familiar with Raya, it is a high-class version of a dating app. So it's like a sorority. It's very secretive. You have to go through all these hoops. You have to have a lot of money to be a part of it. So that's, the app that she was on, or the dating service she was on, is Raya. So she said she's very much single. There's nothing going on between them. And then, had someone in the comment section saying that they've been friends since college and all of this. I'm just like, yeah, but that's a little bit suspicious. It's a little bit suspicious, considering the reason why Sarah called off the wedding. Many people speculated it had to do with a prenup, right? It had nothing to do with a prenup. And Sarah herself even commented on Speakeasy's podcast on their Instagram page and said, this had nothing to do with a prenup. I hope we can put that rumor to rest, right? Then it later came out that Dak had these secretive Instagrams, and it was incognito for his messages, getting secret messages, right? Now I'm starting to wonder, is it true that, these affairs or, whatever he had going on was happening? Because why are you spotted with the bridesmaid? I don't understand it, y'all. I really can't understand it. And they were spotted multiple times together. I think there was one pic of them in Mexico, and then there was something about them holding hands. Also, they were at this PBR event. This is the most recent. So they were together at this PBR event. I believe that Schottenheimer, the head coach for the Dallas Cowboys, he was there as well. But it says Dak Prescott was spotted at the PBR event with his ex, Sarah Jane Ramos's bridesmaid. I'm just like, what? I don't know. Are you all skeptical of people who, people of the opposite sex just saying that they're friends? I know that it can happen. Trust me, I get that it can happen. I have, friends of the opposite sex. But if I'm being completely honest with y'all, those guys have, tried to make moves before. But I shut that down, right? Shut it down. I just want to be friends. And they respected that. But I don't know. I have a hard time believing you can be involved like that and something not be going on. I don't know. I don't know, y'all. Dak will always be ringless. LY, you are wrong for that. You're wrong for that. Why'd you do Dak like that? I mean, yeah, that's a possibility. That's a very big possibility. I would have to wonder if he would ever get engaged again after this. I mean, maybe at some point he'll get married. I don't think he'll ever have a destination wedding again. I don't think he will ever want some sort of big shindig. I could be wrong on this, but after getting shot down at that level of almost being married and then having a destination wedding and then calling it off, I would have to think I don't think you're gonna go through with it again. I don't know. Me personally, I wouldn't do it, y'all. I would not do it again. But, oh man, it's something else with the Cowboys right now. It's always something. Like I say, it's always something with the Cowboys. Can we have one season where there's just not some sort of drama going on? So now you have Dak with this. You have the Pickens situation. Always something going on with whatever comes out of Jerry Jones' mouth. It's like, what the heck? What the heck? Y'all, that's all I can say. Oh, wait. I probably got a drop for that. Hold on. Let's go to the Stephen A drops, y'all, because I feel like the Stephen A ones really are good for this.
How do you do that? How do you do that? Who told you that was okay? I want names. I want faces. I want to know. Because the shit ain't okay.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out
I'm not in the mood. I just want to speak and I want to get out of here because I got better things to do with my time. But there's just certain things that are necessary.
And shout out to AV.
The fuck is this?
Y'all, when I seen that news with Dak Prescott, that's what I said. I said, what the F is this? Like, what is going on? But shout out to you, Ty Pro, for stumbling into the Touchdown Tribe building. Okay, let's see. Let me go to my drops for Ty Pro. Great live from Ty Pro the other night. Y'all go subscribe to Prolific Minds podcast. We had, well, I say we. Y'all, we. It's not we. Hold on. Speaking of that.
We? We.
It was not we, y'all. But it was Ty Pro. Ty Pro had the Theo Coop from the Do Better podcast on his panel. Great, informative. It's so informative. Such great lives from Ty Pro. And that one, having like Coop and Ty Pro, like their mindset on things and hearing their thoughts, that was an amazing live, y'all. It was so great. And then Ty Pro, he kicked Black America off the panel. That was funny. Whenever I heard Coop laugh, I was like, this is hilarious to even have Coop cracking up like that. And then Coop, he gave Ty Pro like the biggest compliment. He was like, I was going to interject, but Ty Pro, you were cooking him. Like, he had no rebuttal for your points. But let me go ahead and play your drops, Ty Pro.
I love pretty women, period. No matter what you hear, see, my bitches gotta be bad. My lady, my one lady.
Shout out to you, Ty Pro. Alright. Yeah, 100%. Appreciate you, too. Let's see. What'd you say? Justice? Creeker, you said justice for Black America. That's hilarious. I'm telling you. And what, Creeker, what did you say? I do agree with you on this one, Creeker. Like, it's good hearing other people's views, getting their perspective on things, whether we agree or disagree. It's absolutely true. Like, we need to hear all sorts of different views. Here's my thing with that. When you start talking too much nonsense, it's like at some point you got to be cut off, okay? You got to be cut off at some point, because otherwise we're just going to go in circles. And I feel like that's what Ty Pro did. Ty Pro, I feel like it was just him just cutting Black America off. But shout out to you, Go Creekery. Let's see. Back to this, though, with Dak Prescott. I find it so suspicious. It's a little too suspicious to me that you are with this girl, like, supposedly in Mexico, and then there was, like, them holding hands, and then also now at a PBR event together. Why are you attending these events to begin with together? Is that not strange? Or am I tripping? I feel like that's so odd. Like, I feel like there's more going on. There is no man. What man is going to keep a girl around that long without some sort of motive? You know what I'm saying? It's just a little suspicious to me. They very well could be friends. They could have boundaries set for each other. It really could be that type of relationship. That's just very rare to occur. It's very rare. At some point, someone catches feelings. There's all, you know how it goes. I could be tripping though. I could be tripping. He started talking crazy about Myron. No Myron Sitlander. Man, he was on one. Like, and just, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it, but just some of the attacks on, like, I don't know if he was trying to say that racism doesn't, maybe it was like there's not setbacks for black people in America, and I strongly disagree. And this is why I talked earlier about it on your Average Logical Thinkers live. Shout out to you, Mo. But this is exactly why I love Mo's content, because she speaks on there's still setbacks. It's very much still real that racism exists, and man, I guess so. This is a topic for another time. This is something I can talk about with Mo and with you, Ty Pro, on your show and all of that. But man, I'm telling you, I get kind of annoyed when I start hearing that. All right, moving on to my predictions for the Dallas Cowboys, y'all. I have this chart. I made this chart. Shout out to my chart, y'all. Let's see what I got. I'm gonna have to move it over, because I don't know. I can't read, y'all. I can't read. Yeah, Mo was cooking earlier today on her live. Like, she was cooking. I was really, really liking it, because I'm like, yeah, Mo, that's right. And, not to get too, well, I'm already sidetracked. Who cares? It's my show, y'all. I'm biased, okay? It's my show.
That's just me. Maybe I'm biased a little bit. Maybe I'm biased a lot of bit. But who cares for this discussion?
Who cares for this discussion? But whenever, I got a little bit heated whenever Coop was playing that one video of the, guy, like, constantly asking these women about wigs and everything. Here's my thoughts on this. My thoughts have changed on this. Just let them do what they're gonna do. They're gonna do what they're gonna do regardless. And if you're not offering, a solution to the issue, like, if you're claiming to be this passionate about it, why are you not offering, money or services to help these women go back to their natural hair? If you're not offering a solution to the problem, it just seems like a pointless conversation to be had. It just seems like something for clicks, views, and I'm not for that. I'm not for that anymore. And I brought up the point from that video with the hair extensions, like, white girls who wear hair extensions. Just go online and search hair extensions for the, white women. That's fake hair for white women, y'all. It's the same thing. And then I had Highway 20, shout out to you, Highway 20, but you said something that ticked me off too. Highway 20 said, what did he say? He was like, well, Chelsea, it's different because it fits the white women's hair. It matches their hair. I'm like, what kind of point is that, y'all? Because it's still fake hair. And not only that, you can search yourself, white women with bad hair extensions. You're going to have women where it does not fit their hair. So it's like, if you're going to be upset about these black women who wear fake hair, you should equally be upset with these white women who wear fake hair. And then if you also talk about the women, well, if you say it's because of their health and it's a safety concern for, whatever they get, the relaxers they put in their hair, I don't know. But white women dye their hair. That's a chemical. That's dangerous. It's like, what are we talking about here? So I just have a different perspective. I'm just like, let these women live. Let them do what they're gonna do. It's not killing, well, I shouldn't say it's not killing anybody, because you could argue the chemicals, right? You could argue that for hair dye for, white women, and you could also argue it with the black women as well. But that's their choice. This is America, y'all. let them live. Let them do what they're going to do. I mean, of course you should encourage them to embrace their natural hair. Sure, you should do that with anybody, including the white women. But, yeah, Cree, thank you. Yeah, it's starting. At first, I did not have this view. Like, at first, you know, I was kind of indifferent. I'm like, yeah, I guess I could see their point. But then the more I started to think about it, it just seemed like a double standard. Y'all know, I've talked about it before. The double standards. I hate double standard hypocrisy. If you're going to be upset with the black women, you know, wearing fake hair, you need to be upset with the white women who wear hair extensions. Because I promise you, so many white women wear hair extensions. So many of them. It is very popular. You can just, you know, search it on your Instagram feed and you will have a whole research of all these white women with hair extensions, okay? It's fake hair. So if you're going to be upset with fake hair, you need to be calling out the white women too. And I just feel like it's a pointless conversation. But that's my new thing. Not to, I already went into a rant about it. I wasn't expecting to get in a rant about it. Ty Pro, I blame you. I blame Ty Pro. Because we got to talking about your live. And that's honestly my fault. It's not all on Ty Pro. But, man, that got me so heated. What's up, 3 a.m.? Good to have you in the building. Y'all go subscribe to 3 a.m. Adoptee Voices. Great content over there. Very informative as well. Let's see. I'm trying to edit some clips. Oh, shout out to that. Skinny boy. He ticks everyone off. Yeah, I mean, I do. Don't get me wrong. Highway 20, he's funny. Like, he gets timed out a lot in Coop's channel. But the one thing that just got under my skin is when he tried to justify it by saying, well, it fits the white women's hair. Like, their hair extensions fits their hair. Like, it's still fake hair. And that's not necessarily true because white women do get bad hair extensions, okay? They do. Alright. I'm tired of that conversation, for real. Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad, it's like, but let's move on. Like, what is it solving? If you're not offering a solution, if you're not offering up money or services and encourage them to, like, go back to their natural hair, what's the point of it, like, you know, having these, like, insulting conversations? I'm not for that. Alright, back to the schedule, y'all. Let me play 3 a.m.'s drop. Shout out to you, 3 a.m. You said that, I'm so excited for that. Your sister is going to be on the 3 a.m. Adoptee Voices, and I can't wait to hear her story. Hold on, I'm trying to bring up your chat. There we go. My birth sister will be on the show tomorrow. Pull up, 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. Shout out to that. I cannot wait. That's going to be a great show. All right. Back to this schedule, y'all. Back to this Dallas schedule in my chart. Let's see. So you have the Giants, the Commanders, Ravens, Texans, Buccaneers, Packers, Eagles, Cardinals, Colts, 49ers, Titans, Eagles, and then Seahawks, a bye week, Rams, Jaguars, Giants. Okay. Oh, and then you have the Commanders. So here's my predictions. The Giants, I'm not counting out the Giants. I feel like it could go either way. You're going to have them alternate. So it's not going to be a sweep. The Dallas Cowboys could lose the first game to the Giants and then win the second game or they could, you know, win and then take a loss at the end. Either way, I think at some point, Dallas Cowboys are going to lose to the Giants. Commanders. People are talking very skeptical of these Commanders. With, I don't know what the Commanders have going on that makes people doubt them right now, but I don't count out Jaden Daniels. I don't. So it's the same thing with the Commanders. I think, you know, they'll lose one and then win another, right? And that's either going to be they'll take the win in week 2 and then lose near the end, or vice versa. Now the Ravens, complete loss. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you right now. I think that Ravens game, we're taking an L. Texans, taking an L. Let me see. I got to start putting in, let me see if I can't put in my notes right here. I don't know if I'll be able to fit it. I want to put the, where it says results, I want to put in my notes for my predictions on that. Let me see if I can't do that. Well, I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it as is and just let you know as I go. You said go Lions. I should have got some more Lions content today, but I don't have any. Sorry. Sorry, 3 a.m. But back to the Texans. I think that'll be a loss. I think that the Buccaneers, that could be a win. I think the Buccaneers, that could be a possible win. Green Bay, I think that'll be a loss. Eagles, either the Cowboys will win. Here's my thing. I think the Cowboys might win the first game. But then the second game, I think they might take a loss. It's like I said, it's better to win early or take your losses early than to lose at the end. And I think the Eagles will take a loss early and then win at the end. So that's my early prediction on that one. Cardinals, a win. Colts is up in the air for me because of Daniel Jones. I don't know what the Colts have. Well, I take that back. I feel like they had a lot of questionable things going on. Sorry, I heard a noise. But I think they have a lot of questionable things going on. So maybe that's going to be a win. Let's see. Is that the 49ers? I think that's the 49ers. Yeah. 49ers, we have a bad track record with the 49ers. That could be a loss. Titans, I think that will be a win. Eagles, I think that's when they lose to the Eagles. Seahawks, it's questionable for the Seahawks right now because it's very hard, like I said, to maintain the success you had coming off of a Super Bowl. So the Seahawks could possibly be a win. My bad, y'all. The connection dropped. I don't know why I did that. I don't know what all you heard from me, but okay, y'all. I'm starting to wonder if they're not working on my internet right now because it's going in and out. Hopefully y'all can hear me. Hopefully everything's good. We'll see how this goes. Okay, it's saying it's green right now. But depending on the schedule, how everything goes with them getting adjusted, if everyone stays healthy, I think it could be a win against the Seahawks for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they have a bye week after that. Then they, I think, play the Rams. Rams, they're talking very highly of the Rams right now. So I think that could be a loss for the Cowboys. And then you have, let's see, who's this? The Jaguars. The Jaguars, that's going to be an interesting game. That's probably going to be a loss. And then the Giants, I think either, I should say this. I think the Cowboys beat the Giants the first game. But I think by the end, the Giants will be adjusted to their team. If everyone stays healthy, I think the Giants beat the Cowboys at the end. Let's see. The Commanders, It's the same thing. I think, either Dallas is going to win the first game and then this second game at the end, they take a loss, or vice versa. So it's up in the air for the Commanders on that one. I don't know. They have done a sweep on the Commanders in the past. Dallas has done a sweep where they won both games. I just got to see what the Commanders have starting out. I really need to do my research on what's going on with the Commanders. But I don't put doubt in Dan Quinn, and I don't put doubt in Jaden Daniels. But shout out to you, Tiffany. Y'all have a tough schedule. Yes, exactly. Exactly, LY. We have a tough schedule. So I'm just like, how can anyone think, like with what Care Bear said, how could you think that Dallas is going to have success with this? I don't get it. But we'll continue to get more into that. Let's see. Tiffany, let me go to your drop. Shout out to you, Tiffany, for coming into the Touchdown Tribe Stadium. I need to start saying the stadium. What did we call the stadium? I can't even remember I would have to go back and look what we ended up calling the stadium. Was it the Chelsea Dome? I think Pooh Man came up with the Chelsea Dome. Or yeah, it was something like that. But shout out to you, Tiffany. Shout out to you. All right, moving on to what Speakeasy had to say about the schedule, and then I'll revisit this. Y'all, I put in... Sorry, I'm going to block myself for a second. So I put in the percentage that I have them winning, okay? And keep in mind, I said that this could change, right? Because you got to take into consideration if there is anything that goes on with player changes, if something happens with a coach, because you just never can count that out as well. But depending on all of that, this is what I have the win percentage as. So 62% against the Giants for week 1. I do think that Dallas wins the first game against the Giants. Commanders, that's up in the air to me, y'all. I got that at 55%. It's up in the air with that one because I'm just like, the Commanders could do well. Ravens, I have that as a loss. I have that as a loss for the Cowboys. Texans, loss. Let's see, how many losses are they taking so far? For sure, Ravens, Texans. I think they win against the Bucks. Packers, loss. Eagles, I think they win this game. Cardinals, win. Colts, win. 49ers, possible loss. Titans, win. Eagles, loss. Seahawks, I think they could win this. Rams, that's a loss. Jaguars, I think that could be a loss. Giants, that's going to be a loss, I think, at the end. And then the Commanders, I mean, that could be a loss or a win. But for sure, I think I have like 7 or 8 losses here. Okay. Let's see what you say. Mo, appreciate your perspective on the hair issue, Chelsea. I'm behind on the vid. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I went on a little rant there. Couldn't help it. I had to get into it. It's something that's been on my mind that's bothered me. Yes, the live is coming from her page. I just stream. Okay, yeah. Talking about how you handle your lives. Now let's get into the speakeasy because I want to cover what Care Bear had to say. It's very delusional cowboy is what it gives.
Cowboy schedule has been released. We start off Sunday Night Football against the New York Giants. Then we play the Washington Commanders. We play the Baltimore Ravens in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Houston Texans in Houston. It's a tough game. Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football at Green Bay, at Philadelphia. Arizona at Indianapolis. San Francisco.
Care Bear.
They starting 2-5.
What are you talking about?
5. The Cowboys are going to beat the Giants.
Crazy.
They might beat Washington.
Starting 2-5. starting 2-5. I have to agree with that. Yeah.
Washington might. They will beat either Washington or
Man,
Tampa.
you quit picking on me about that. It's not my favorite. Y'all, he's joking. 3AM's joking. They're not my favorite. I disagree with them often. Y'all know that. But they do cover more than, others right now. Like, I know that Nightcap, they've been heavy on covering the NBA right now. And let's see. I'm trying to think of who else. They're really the ones that are talking still the most about football. So this is why I'm using them. Oh, yeah, Pat McAfee show, of course. Pat McAfee, how could I forget Pat McAfee? But Pat McAfee is my main one. That y'all know that's my go-to. They have Adam Schefter on there, Ian Rappaport, all the main insiders. So I really rely heavily on the Pat McAfee show. But we also have Speakeasy. Wow, what was that? Y'all, speaking of this, I don't even know if I brought this point up, but Speakeasy, whenever I was telling y'all about this going on with Dak Prescott, Speakeasy had a video. They had a video, and they scrapped it. I don't know if they put out misinformation. I don't know what happened with it. But whenever I went back to save that video, it was gone. So then I was like, that's odd. So then I started going back through their lives. I was like, well, I'll just find where it is in their live and I'll clip it up. Gone. So I don't know if they put out some sort of misinformation that could have got them in trouble. I don't know. But whatever they had said is gone. And I really wanted to use that video. I was like, this will be perfect for the live. I can, use that, cover this topic of what's going on. But they got rid of it. And I'm just like, that's odd. I'm just like wondering what was said in that. And I tried to look on YouTube for anyone else who covered it or reacted to it. Nobody, reacted to it. And so I guess it is completely gone. They just erased it. Also, I searched in Google. I was like asking AI about this video. And, they were like, it doesn't exist. So I don't know. It's a little bit odd to me. So now I'm curious as to what was said because I'm nosy like that. Okay, back to it.
At Philadelphia, that is a loss. The Cowboys are starting 2-5. They will beat New York and they will beat either. They will beat
What up,
either.
Pinball? Let me go to the drops since you strolled into the building. Shout out to the CDL gang.
Hey, boy, do it to it.
And shout out to Ty Pro because he's CDL gang as well. Pinball, let me see. I think I have a drop for you. Here we go. Pinball, that's another one of your drops. Shout out to you. Okay, let me go back. We're at 39 seconds here.
They're starting 2-5. They will beat New York and they will beat either. They will beat either Washington or Tampa. They will not beat both of those teams. Wow. Baltimore lost, Texans lost, Packers lost, Eagles lost. So
who do you think the Dallas Cowboys are?
Not better than the Ravens, not better than the Texans, not better than the Packers, and not better than the Eagles.
You would have said we weren't better than the Chiefs last year.
Not better than the Texans, Eagles, Ravens. Yeah, that's all losses right there. They have a very tough schedule, as what LY was saying.
Better than the Eagles, and we were able to beat both of those teams.
I know you will split with the Eagles, but you're not going into Philly on prime time and beating Jalen.
Yeah, they'll split. This is where I agree with Acho. Yeah, they'll split for sure. I have the Cowboys possibly winning early on. I think, they could, take the win early, but they will face a loss. They will face a loss most likely at the end. We'll see. It could be the opposite, right? It could be the opposite because Dallas is still getting adjusted to everything, completely new defense. So it could be that Dallas takes a loss early and then they end up winning once they're adjusted to everything. Either way, like Ocho's saying here, they're going to split. They're going to split. One's taking a loss, one's taking a win, and it's alternating. Chelsea, you going 8 and 9. Let me see what I have, because I think I put it on my chart here. Let's see what I said. So I have them going 9 and 8. Let me see if that's right, though. So, New York, I think the Cowboys take a win early. Let me just count on my fingers the losses. So, Giants, I think that's a week 1 win. Commanders, that could go either way with the Commanders. I think that's another split one. I don't think it's a full sweep for the Cowboys. So either way, we'll say Commanders a loss, Ravens a loss, Texans a loss. I think they do win. I think they will beat the Bucks. Don't ask me why I think that, but I do. Green Bay loss. Eagles, at some point they're taking a loss to the Eagles. And then Cardinals, I think that's a win. Colts, I think that Colts game is questionable, to be honest with you, depending on Daniel Jones and if the team's healthy and what all they have. But we'll say that's a win. 49ers, that could be a loss. Titans, I think that's a win. Eagles, I already have, at some point them having a loss to the Eagles. Seahawks, I think that's a possible win. Rams, I think that's a loss. Jaguars, I think that's a loss. And then, I already gave Giants and the Commanders. So that's 8. So I had 8 losses. 9 and 8. So they'll have like 9 wins and 8 losses. I'm trying to figure out how that's 9 wins though. Is that 9 wins? That doesn't seem, I guess that is a total of 9 wins for the Cowboys. It doesn't seem like I got the number right on that, but hopefully I did. I'm bad at math, y'all. So there's my chart on that.
Yes, we are. I'm telling you right now, yes, we are.
That's not a take based on the
back-to-back games, prime time at Green Bay, at Philly. That's
those
tough.
Those are 2 tough
That's
games.
tough.
I'll give you that. Also, Thursday Night Football, we're going to have a long week to prepare for Green Bay. Then we're playing a divisional rival.
I mean, Care Bear, he's acting like the delusional Cowboy fan, and I can't stand that, y'all. Can't stand a delusional Cowboy fan. Oh, it just makes me sick. I don't get it. I mean, and I'm not saying that, the Seahawks are going to be successful again, right? Because, I said earlier multiple times, it's very difficult to maintain that success coming off of a Super Bowl win. And, they're facing changes with the offensive coordinator, all of that. So, the chances of the Seahawks maintaining the same success they had the last season, it's not likely. But I get what you're saying, 3am. He's treating it like they are, the Chiefs, the Eagles, like a team that can actually compete. I don't know. I don't know about all that.
Great about it. I feel absolutely great about it.
I don't know if there's a tougher 5-week stretch in all of football. A tougher 6-week stretch in all of football than the 6-week stretch the Dallas Cowboys have. Baltimore and Brazil.
That's a tough schedule. When I seen this schedule, y'all, I didn't see this schedule till today. I waited to look at the schedule. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to hold off on it. Because I had already heard, rumblings that this is going to be a difficult schedule for the Cowboys. And then when I seen it today, I was like, oh, ain't no way. Ain't no way that the Cowboys, after rebuilding a defense, I believe it when I see it. We'll see once the cleats hit the turf how this ends up, going for the Cowboys. Because they could end up proving me wrong, right? Never say never. They could go all the way to a Super Bowl. How likely is that? Well, like I said, believe it when I see it. But this schedule is not promising. It's not screaming Super Bowl win. And this is why I had the biggest issue with keeping Pickens. If you don't see yourself winning a Super Bowl with what you got right now, go ahead, trade Pickens, get the picks you need, you know, get something from the draft, whatever, right? Because what's the point of keeping him if you don't think you're going to a Super Bowl? Because you already said that you don't want to sign him to a long-term deal. So what's the point of keeping him? It's just not smart, in my opinion. And that's neither here nor there. All I can say is you're more logical than the rest of these Cowboy fans. Thank you, Tiffany. I take that as a compliment. And shout out to my dad, because my dad, he made me a very realistic Cowboy fan.
Houston, Tampa Bay, prime time. At Green Bay, prime time. Philadelphia, prime time. There is not a tougher 5-game stretch in all of football than what the Cowboys have to see from week 3 to week 7. If the Cowboys win,
man, I'm telling you, this, like, you're facing all your biggest, like, enemies. You know, Giants, that's a rival game. Commanders, that's a rival game, which, you know, we already know those games are for sure. Like, we already know Giants, Commanders, Eagles. Those games are for sure. Throw in the Packers in there, right? But that schedule, having the Giants, they're under a new head coach. They made a lot of changes, like a lot of great changes to build their team up. You know, granted, there's questions with Malik Neighbors, right? But Giants are looking great. Commanders, that's been a decent team. Now, if Jaden Daniels stays healthy, his return, depending on all of that, we'll see what their success looks like. But that's another top contender team. Ravens, another top contender team. Texans, another top contender team. You can argue the Bucks. The Bucks, I think, is another top contender team. Green Bay, top contender team. Like, it's all of those games. It looks questionable to me. It just looks questionable to me.
one of those games, great. 2 of those games, excellent. I do not see them winning 2 games of that 5-game stretch.
If Malik Neighbors comes back healthy, the Giants are going to
be. Thank you. Let me get my schedule out of the way. I realized I had my schedule out of the way. I was looking at my own personal schedule. But thank you, TJ. He's saying if Malik Neighbors returns. Oh, man, this is why I don't like people underestimating the Giants right now. You got Jackson Dart. He's very promising as a rookie QB. You have the changes that they made on offense. Have a new head coach with 19 years experience. Well, no, it's 18. Mike Tomlin's the one that has 19. But, you know, a head coach with 18 years of head coaching experience with one organization with the Ravens. I mean, that's very promising. It's just so many pieces. It's just like, I don't doubt the Giants right now. And I know many people like to talk about our track record with the Giants. They say, oh, well, Dak has a record of beating the Giants for this many years, right? I've seen multiple rumblings of that. At some point, that's going to be broken. And I think it could be this season. That's going to probably get broken.
Much better team than they were last year.
Yes.
The Giants are going to be a better team. With Harbaugh, they're going to be a better team. When you even look at the schedule, if Seattle is what Acho believes they're going to be, you come out, you got to go Indy, San Fran, Tennessee's a win, Philly, Seattle.
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
That's a tough
And then we
stretch.
get our first bye week, week 14. I mean, our only bye week. We get the bye week's 14.
Bro, this schedule. If Cowboys
That's a brutal
we have to go on the
schedule.
road against the Rams. We have a tough schedule.
Man, that's
It is a brutal schedule.
Also,
This
it's
is a
It's also because
a terrible
the
bye
Eagles
week.
have the best
Derek, you
bye
said
week.
the Bengals will win the Super Bowl. So why are we talking about other teams? We're going to get into Burrow next. We're going to get into the Bengals and Burrow next after this because I'm not doubting the Bengals. The Bengals and the Steelers, I think, are teams who made changes for this season that looks promising. And I don't think anybody should count them out. I don't feel like Joe Burrow should be counted out.
Right in the middle of the season, and you already get like a mini bye early on.
Our easier games are at home for sure. Yes.
If somebody gets hurt, because bye weeks, let's talk to y'all real quick, just so y'all can sound smart at the water cooler. Week 4 bye weeks suck. Week 14 bye weeks suck. You want your bye week to hover around week 8,
9 or 10.
Bingo.
Somewhere in the middle.
That's good game, y'all. That's good game from people who played in the league. Granted, you can take Ocho with a grain of salt. He wasn't no TJ by any means, but coming from somebody like TJ, you want those bye weeks that are like around week 8 to week 10, I think he said. That's good. That's good insight. You really don't like the bye weeks that are like week 14.
If you make the playoffs, week 10 isn't the middle of the season. If you make the playoffs, week 10 is the middle of the season. If you don't make the playoffs, everybody's like, well, you want a bye week in the middle of the season. Week 8. Week 8's the middle of the season if your season done January 1st. If your season not done till February, January 31st, the middle of the season is week 10 or week 11. A week 14 bye week, Kieran, imagine if George Pickens twists an ankle out 3 to 4 weeks. Bye week 14,
Why does
he's
Ocho
missing.
keep talking about Pickens getting hurt? He really is starting to tick me off with that. Y'all, he keeps talking about Pickens getting hurt. That would be the worst thing ever. To be on a franchise tag, get hurt, knowing how the Cowboys treat these athletes, it's like, I don't like that. I don't like that one bit.
All 3 or 4 of those weeks.
Yeah.
And then the Cowboys only have one mini bye week after week 5. You play Tampa Thursday night football, then you play Green Bay Sunday night football. So you get like a mini bye week T right there.
So it's not so bad because you get that mini bye.
Think they didn't have the Steelers on their schedule, did they? Let me look. I gotta zoom in, y'all. What am I looking at here? I don't know what I clicked on. Let's see. I didn't see. Yeah, I didn't see the Steelers on there. All right, back to the video.
Week 5, week 6. So, but
Here, let me
you
make
would
sure I have my
prefer that.
schedule right too. Let me zoom into what they have. Oh yeah, I had the schedule right. Because like I said, I made that one graphic. This one graphic, I made. My graphic on my predictions, this is from me. With the help of AI. AI helped me on a little bit of it. There's a few things that I added, like my stats and everything. That was me.
And we get another one. And we get another one on Philadelphia.
10, 11, 12 after you get the mini bye.
Yeah, but we also get another one with Philadelphia. That's a Thursday game that we play every single year as well.
They don't even need the Steelers. They got enough problems. That's the truth. We don't even need the Steelers to talk about the problems that the Cowboys have right now with this schedule. Well, that's bad.
Well, so we get 2 long weeks to prepare.
But here's the kicker,
That is
though.
true.
But
That's
with
true.
2 long weeks means 2 short weeks, bro. Imagine this. You got to go to Houston, which isn't hard at all, obviously. But you got to play at Houston, and then you got to play Tampa on a short week.
Yep.
And that's going to be a good Tampa.
But
I really do think that Ocho wants Pickens to get hurt so he can be like, I told you so. I told y'all you should have traded him while you had the chance. And I ain't going to lie, I'll be the same dang way. If Pickens gets hurt, you already decreased the value of him with the trade. And it was just pointless. The whole thing was pointless, especially if you don't make a playoff. It's like, what was the point?
Tennessee on a short week.
Yeah, that's
one thing when you play
And then
Tennessee.
Philly.
they
Philly's
gonna-
on a short
Yeah,
week.
Philly's on a short week.
Tennessee is going to be good on defense. And if Cam Ward is the goods, like where he was drafted, they're going to be better on offense as well.
Man, this is something, y'all, I take back what I said about the Titans. The Titans could be questionable because I don't know why it slipped my mind, but you got to think, they brought in Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll, he comes from Alabama. He was Alabama's offensive coordinator. He was also the head coach of the Giants. That obviously didn't work out. But now he's with the Titans as a coordinator. Plus, you brought in Robert Salah, or however you say his name. Salah, I don't know. Something. Robert S. Brought in Robert S. as head coach. Titans could end up beating the Cowboys as well. And I don't know what all they did. I want to say that Ridley is returning to the Titans. So if they get their offense going, which I think they will, knowing Brian Daboll's experience, it's questionable for the Cowboys to even beat the Titans.
Let's do Cowboys. I'm gonna give you my Cowboys schedule. I'm gonna give you my Cowboys record. Count up the wins, please, Kieran.
Okay, I got you.
New York,
Yeah,
week 1,
Derek,
dub.
I need to cover more baseball. I do need to cover baseball. I cover, a little bit of basketball, especially when it's college basketball season. And then I have covered a little bit of the NBA. But I do need to get into that. I do need to talk about baseball. Because they've made a lot of great changes in baseball. I've talked about that before.
Washington's gonna split, but I'll give this Washington dub. Ravens L.
Okay.
Texans L. Tampa dub. Packers.
You really think we lose all of our tough games?
No, I'm giving y'all some. Packers. It's gonna be tough.
Micah gonna be ready for that one.
Yeah, Packers.
We dropped 40 on them last year.
Packers L. Philly's gonna split. I'll give him an L now. I'll give him a dub later. Philly split.
And so I
Philly
agree
L.
with that. I agree. You're going to have those split games.
Have a starting 3 and 4. Gotcha.
Yes. Cardinals dub. Colts dub.
Colts. Now, I feel like Colts could be questionable. I am putting it down as a dub for right now, but Colts could end up being questionable later on.
At home. L. Titans dub. Eagles dub. Seahawks on the road. Let's say dub.
Okay, I was going to say, Acho's speaking very highly of the Seahawks right now. But with all the changes that's going on with the Seahawks, you got to think that could be a possible win for the Cowboys.
Let's say dub.
Wow.
Okay. Rams on the road. L. Jacksonville at home. Jacksonville's defense is going to be nice.
Now, Rams,
Giants.
I've talked about this earlier, but the Rams, they have very high on the list to be possible Super Bowl contenders for the NFC.
Dub, Commanders dub.
So you have us at 10 and 7.
10 and 7.
That's fair. That seems fair.
So he has us at 10 and 7. I think I have us at 9 and 8. So I feel like he was more generous than I even was. Which I could have been wrong on my math here. I could have got my wins and my losses mixed up and didn't include everything. That number could be wrong, but it says 9 and 8. We'll just go with it.
But one of those teams, like Jacksonville, had a surprise season last year.
Yep.
Can they be a really good team? Seattle obviously had a surprise season winning the Super Bowl. Are they going to come back the same team? One of those two teams.
Yeah, exactly, Tiffany. That's why I said take everything with this as a grain of salt. These are just early predictions. This is why I even put on my little chart, I said early. I put in all caps, early predictions for this schedule. So you got to take it with a grain of salt.
But even before the Seahawks won the Super Bowl, they were still 10 and 7. You feel me? They just didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah,
10 and 7,
but Seattle, that defense is literally gonna have to carry him how the Legion of Boom carried them back in the day.
Yeah,
that's what it's gonna have to be.
Yeah,
unless Fleury is just a hell of an OC that is just been biding his time being a position coach.
Here's the hard part too, though, G. Kieran, what you're not taking into account, bro, isn't just the teams; it's the style of play.
Yeah, we have a lot of physical teams.
Jesse Minter,
yeah,
they finna be hidden.
And then
D'Amico,
they finna be hit.
I want that Houston, Texas smoke.
Bro, you
I want that Houston, Texas.
Bro, you played 4
I
defensive
think he's right about the Ravens.
Coaches 4 weeks in a row. Washington, Dan Quinn. Baltimore Ravens. Houston Texans, D'Amico Ryans. Todd Bowles. Bro, it's going to be nothing but cold tubs in Dallas from week 2 to week 6, bro.
Oh, man. Acho act like he was Lawrence Taylor. That's so true. That's so true. He really... This is why I have such an issue with Acho on Speakeasy. This is why I don't always agree with him. Because he always acts like he was some big shot in the NFL. It's like, act your... let's see. Act your management level. Or whatever the saying is. Like, act your employee level with this. You are not some big shot, okay?
Okay. You don't get to play like a soft team until the Packers. Because even the Giants not going to be soft.
Nah, not with Harbaugh.
Bro, your first 5 weeks is finna be physical.
Headbangers.
Headbangers, bro.
Yeah. We play 4 straight defensive coaches.
Oh.
With Baltimore, Houston, Tampa Bay, and Washington with Dan Quinn. I'm very excited.
What record you see?
I see us going 12.
5 is crazy. Care Bear, delusional Cowboy fan. I'm telling you. Oh, that's not a good look.
I see us going 12-5. I don't think we lose. This is the problem. This is the difference between y'all and me. I've watched my team go out there and compete against the teams that we had no shot against. Last year when we got our tie off against the Green Bay Packers, the Cowboys are about to get smacked. They're going to get...
man. Oh, he's acting like we won that game. That was a tie. We barely came out of that. And who wants to have a tie game? Not me. I'm not satisfied with no tie. What are we talking about here, Care Bear? What are we talking about? That is not an argument. I promise you, that's not a good argument.
Ran through. It's going to be horrible. I watched my team step up to the plate. Whenever we were supposed to get smacked against the Philadelphia Eagles a week before Thanksgiving, they're going to get a mud hole stomped through them. Whenever we play against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you're not supposed to go out there and win. Bro, we lose the stupid games. We lose to the Jags 2-3 years ago. We lose to the Arizona Cardinals last year. Those are the games we dropped. Those are the stupid ass games we lose. We don't lose. The big games we actually show up and split those.
The Cowboys have a good team.
I will agree with him on that. We do show up and we do split those games. He's right about that. But ultimately, what ends up happening, we always end up losing. We always end up losing the pointless ones. It is what it is, right? That's just the same old Cowboys. We'll see if it's any different once the cleats hit the turf. But I'm not delusional. I'm not expecting them to go 12-5. Okay, I'm not. Let's chill out. Let's see what happens, okay, before we go saying all that.
Have a good team.
They have they're gonna be a top 4 to 5 offense, 100% guarantee.
That defense
can that secondary
to be decided
hold up their end of the bargain? Because that front 7, the front 4 is going to be very good.
Derek, no defense, and this is banking on Christian Parker having his defense ready to go. But they completely have a different defense, and you have a defensive coordinator, plus you're running a different defensive scheme. You're going from a 4-3 to 3-4. It's just like there's so many changes that you have to get adjusted to, and to just think that you're going to go 12-5 is a little bit high. It's a long shot. I mean, I just don't feel like that's very realistic.
Let's zoom out, bro. We all the way in 2-4. Let's zoom out. Baltimore has a good team.
Yes.
The Texans have a great team.
Yes.
The Packers have a good team, and the Eagles have a good to really good team. Cowboys ain't the only good team around.
No.
No, they cool. They a good team.
Because they're going to put pressure on the opposing offense to keep up.
Yes.
Because they're scoring. So they're going to put pressure on that opposing offense.
And this is if everyone stays healthy on offense, right? Everyone has to stay healthy on offense for this to be a maintained theory. If something happens to the offense, then it becomes even more questionable.
It's going to be a really good team. But how is it Declan, the OC? How you pronounce his last name?
What's it called? Baltimore's?
I know you're talking about.
Now, how is he going to be as an OC? We don't know. We don't know. And so, Lamar, can he stay healthy a full season?
Now, they did make, adjustments. This is the thing with the Ravens. They made adjustments according to Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson got to be a part of the head coaching hire. So likely he was a part of the offensive coordinator hire as well. They're going to do things that work well with Lamar Jackson. So I really don't have a question with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, you got to take into consideration being healthy and all of that. But you can't question the Ravens.
Declan Door. Yeah, Declan. Like, the one concept that Houston is going to be a hell of a game. It's
going to be tough.
Green Bay is going to be a hell of a game. In Philly, those 3 games.
They corrected their running back situation. You know, they have a lot of key players returning. You have Will Anderson Jr. on defense, and then Henry Atoa. It's like you have such great pieces on Houston Texans. That's going to be another top contender team.
For sure, those are going to be tough games.
And Baltimore, in Brazil.
That's going to be, but
it's going to be tough.
The travel, the travel, it's early in the season. This is what people don't realize. When you installing a new offense, you know those little hand signals that we've been doing for the last 6 or 7 years? Yeah. Those are changing. I might look at you and just give you something, and by week 8, we're good. Yeah. But early in the season, it's like, damn, did he really give me that?
Yeah, what did he give me? Yeah.
And so just that little stuff, it kind of goes unnoticed that may be a problem.
Here's the last thing that's incredibly difficult about the Cowboys schedule. Usually, if you have a gauntlet to start, it gets chill at the end. Bro, the Cowboys got to play the Eagles, then the Seahawks, then the Rams, then the Jags.
Man, one of them teams going to be sorry as hell.
I agree with him on that. One of the teams that someone's taking a loss there. You can't all be great.
Always happens. It always happens.
I don't.
Somebody gonna be sorry
if
as hell.
somebody's hurt, sure.
Cause
oh yeah, that's just another factor. Is if someone gets hurt.
2 teams in each division that normally just kind of come out of nowhere and make the playoffs every year.
Yep. 2 teams from each conference, not
each
division.
Conference, not division. Yes, each conference. Yes.
Yeah,
man. We gonna
asked
see.
the chat.
Would you ask them?
Well, I didn't. Technically, the guys in the back did. Let me not steal their credit. They already don't get enough of it. They said, how many games will the Cowboys win? The options were 1 to 4, 9%. 5 to 8, 36. Just went down to 35%.
Slow.
12 plus, 9%.
Yeah, fair.
So the
and
same
then 9
amount.
to 11, 47%.
Yeah, they're 9. They'll win
9 to 11. Now I have 9 and I think I have 9 and 8. And they have 9-11. So we'll see.
I think
we go 11-6 with our schedule. I'm still happy with the season.
That's
I think the division winner is going to be an 10 to 12 win team in our division this year. But especially because we have to play the NFC West.
Yeah.
Playing the NFC West this year, this is our year to play against all of those teams. 3 of the teams are.
If we see the Cowboys win these tough games, you're looking at a top contender team. Now, we all know how it goes for the Cowboys. Can they win when it matters, right? If they were to make it to a championship game, like a NFC championship game, could they win when it matters? But I'm just saying, if they win these games, you're going to start thinking, okay, they might be a real deal. But like I said, take that with a grain of salt.
In the final 4 on the NFC side of the bracket. It's going to be tough. But I will say this. I know my Cowboys. We're not going to miss the playoffs 3 straight years. Especially with Dak.
Not missing the playoffs 3 straight years. Boy, you got high hopes. You keep that energy. I wish I could be like that. I'm more realistic when it comes to the Cowboys. I like to say believe it when I see it. But man, you know, you're very optimistic. I ain't mad at it, but I just think you're delusional.
Have right now on the offensive side of the ball, we're going to figure this shit out, and we're going to go to an NFC championship for the first time in my life.
So you're that much more confident in your Cowboys?
To an NFC championship for the first time. See, 3 a.m., you already have it. We're going to go to an NFC championship the first time in my life. I didn't say it, Care Bear said it. But I have seen other Cowboy fans saying that we're going to a Super Bowl and all of this nonsense. Why? Why do you all have to say that? Why? Why do you do that? Just say, believe it when you see it. Don't set yourself up for failure. Be realistic with your goals here. Why? Why do we got to be the delusional Cowboy fans? Not me, but why do y'all have to happen? Like, I don't.
offense than all of these defensive juggernauts you got to face.
I'm confident that C.J. Stroud's not going to be able to score with us, and I'm confident that we're going to own the Texans.
Man, he said he's confident that C.J. Stroud is not going to be able to score with us. Here's my thing. Texans made changes to their run game, so that's going to help tremendously with C.J. Stroud. Still a decent passer. I know people question him with the turnovers, but I feel like that had more to do with not having a decent run game. Once you have a decent run game and you're not having to be so pass heavy, I feel like that, helps with that situation. Now, can Caleb Downs be a ball hog and get turnovers, knock the ball out, things like that? I think everyone's banking on that. We'll see what happens. But I don't know.
The same way that we have on the Texans when we play them on the field my entire life. Yes, we own the state of Texas. And we put belts on little brother over and over and over again whenever we need
I don't know
Texans.
about that. I feel like I need to look at that. I think we lost to the Texans the last few times we played them. I could be wrong, but I feel like with the times that we have played the Texans, we've lost.
Have 2 to 3 bad games defensively this year, maybe.
And that's going to be one of them.
That's it.
Maybe. And that's going to be one of them.
Remember, I don't know who it's going to be against. It's 2 to 3, maybe.
Y'all remember when the Packers were a defensive juggernaut through 5-6 weeks of the season last year? We hung 40 on them?
It's different. It's different.
What name a DB the Packers got? Keyshawn Nixon's their starting corner.
Man, that was tough.
He's not. Texas got 2 of them and 3 starting level safeties.
Did y'all talk about the run game for the Texans this upcoming season?
Talk about the run game for the Cowboys?
I don't question Green Bay. Like, the only team you really need to question all the time is the Cowboys. Like, we didn't stop the run game against Green Bay a few years ago when it mattered. The game we needed to win, we ended up losing. And it was because of the run defense. Let's see, who else? 49ers. Add the 49ers to the list. You can talk about Saquon Barkley, with the Eagles. It's just like always been a reoccurring issue. I don't know what makes him think that it's going to be any difference. And he's talking about the run game that the Cowboys have. I don't know what I'll be honest with y'all. I don't know what the Cowboys got that's special on the run game. Maybe he's seeing something I can't see, but I just feel like that run game isn't anything out of the, ordinary, or I should say extraordinary. I don't think it's extraordinary. It's not like you have a Derrick Henry. I don't know. Or a Saquon Barkley. I don't know.
Upcoming season? That young offensive line, a year older?
But what we didn't see from the Texans last year was the run game, and that's going to be a lot different this year.
That'll help.
It's going to help.
They added changes for the Texans to the run game, so they're addressing those issues.
Texans might beat the hell out of the Cowboys. Texans are amazing.
Yeah,
Texans are amazing.
They didn't even talk about Will Anderson Jr. That's kind of makes me mad, but you didn't even bring up Will Anderson Jr. Or did they? I don't know. But Will Anderson Jr. on their defense, Dak Prescott might take some sacks, y'all. I'm telling you, that is a lethal defensive linebacker. I'm telling you.
On paper, they are amazing. On paper.
Also, ladies and gentlemen,
in real life, what happened?
God, it's out.
Oh, he's talking about Drake. Yeah, Tiffany, you just gotta laugh at him. Laugh at him. I'm telling you, and that's what I do. But going back to this schedule, I have the percentage up there. Of course, my math could be a little bit off. They said, what did they say? 10 or 9 and 11, and I said 9 and 8. I could change that to 9 and 11. It seems like my math was wrong on that. It seems like I have more losses than I do wins. So I feel like something's off with that math there. Let's see what this number is. Was this the percentage? Overall win percentage, 53%. And then third in the NFC East. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. This is just an early prediction. This will change, y'all. I will change my theory on this. I told y'all earlier that, going off of what the analysts have to say and other little factors, because I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to certain things, that's what will help me decide when the cleats hit the turf who I really think is the real deal and who I don't. So I will be changing this as we go. Moving on to the Bengals.
The Cincinnati Bengals will open their season at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, both former number 1 overall picks going at it. I completely forget they were both number 1 overall picks. Everyone talks about Baker like an underdog. Cincinnati Bengals don't host back-to-back games until week 17 and 18 on their schedule. That is the latest that consecutive home contest has ever been played in a regular season in franchise history. Also, this is the full schedule. Fellas, how are we feeling about this team? I'll keep this up while we have the conversation.
Is this Joe Burrow? Schedule. So it looks like they play the Texans. They play the Bucks. They're probably going to play the Steelers, right? They play the Commanders at some point. Okay, there we go.
Burrow's last season to prove himself and potentially go, on another deep playoff run.
Go ahead, T. No, last season, y'all act like he 37, 38, 39. No.
Isn't he like 30 now?
He young.
They're talking
He's
about
young.
it being Joe Burrow's last season because of his health or whatever, if something goes badly with the Bengals. And it's like what TJ's talking about. It's like you're acting like the guy is not talented. Age, I always talk about, take age with a grain of salt. The more things you got to worry about is staying healthy. That's been the biggest issue. But he's still such a talent. I don't think you can count Joe Burrow out. Now, I did say, if y'all watched my recent video that I posted on Troy Aikman, Joe Burrow being Troy Aikman's favorite quarterback, you just got to look at him staying healthy this season. I think if something goes wrong with that, if there's a collapse in the offensive line, I think Joe Burrow is going to want out by the end of the season. I do. So we'll see how it goes, but I do think that the Bengals made decent changes, temporary, decent 1-year deal changes. I think actually Jonathan Allen, he got a 2-year deal on defense, but they made temporary changes to address issues. So we'll see how it goes, but it has to change. It has to change this season or Joe Burrow is going to be out.
No, this isn't his last season, but got to stay healthy the whole season. I believe he will. Yeah, he ain't turning 30 to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I don't like the early bye week. We're winning week 1. May lose week 2. Beating the Steelers week 3. Beating the Jags week 9. If we do lose the first, we going at least 3-2, 4-1 before the bye week. Coin flips are going to be the Jags.
At some point, 3 a.m., the Lions have to get it. The Lions is another team I wouldn't mind. If the Cowboys are out, I wouldn't mind seeing the Lions win. At some point, the Lions have to make it. Come on now. That just has to happen. It has to be in the cards for the Lions at some point. And I hope it's with Terrion Arnold and Branch, because y'all have 2 former Alabama players, plus, actually no, 3, because I cannot forget the best running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. Oh wait, and you also have, what is it, Williams? Y'all have Williams? Y'all have 4 former Alabama players, maybe.
Steelers, Texans, because we beating the Bucks and the Dolphins for sure. And we may win 2 of those 3. We may lose 2 of those 3.
Man, what's with this ad? Sorry, y'all. I thought I deleted these ads.
Nah, to be taken seriously. TJ, y'all missed the playoffs 3 consecutive seasons. Let's keep it a beam, bro. The days of the Bengals in the playoff hunt,
years and years and years ago. The days of Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes are great playoff matchups. Bro.
Name. Just all
I
the good
disagree with
quarterbacks came
Acho
up.
on this.
All
And
the good-
TJ is going to make great points. TJ is really the only reasonable one to me. I disagree with him too on a lot of things, but here I don't disagree with him.
quarterbacks. Not one of them that you can name that's in the NFL right now has ever played with a defense that bad. Ever. Not one time. Not one season in their career. The Bengals were on pace last year to be the worst defense in the history of the National Football League. The worst defense in the history of the National Football League in yards per game. They were that bad. Mahomes ever had a defense like that? Ever? Nah. Josh Allen ever had it? Nah. Lamar Jackson ever had it? Nah. Matthew Stafford ever had it? Nah.
Here's why I hate that argument. Because you can't have it both ways. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're just you're not inaccurate. You're incomplete.
See TJ's face? That's me. That's me when it comes to the things that Acho says. The things that come out of Acho's mouth, that is my reaction, just like TJ. Because I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
You can't pay T. Higgins.
No, there we go.
Pay Jamar. Draft Jamar. Because you didn't have to draft Jamar.
Listen.
You can't have all of these pieces on offense. And I'm not just talking about that. I'm talking Joe Burrow steps into the league. Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. He has the best skill position group in all of football. That is why offensively he was so great.
No.
Not just because he had incredible dudes. So the defense is going to struggle.
Okay, so the Eagles don't have all those high-paid players just like the Bengals? And then some on defense and on O-line?
They drafted well.
No,
they drafted well.
That's a great point that TJ's making here. The entire chat looking at Acho like that. For sure, 3 a.m.
A.J. Brown, Jamar Chase. There wasn't what money-wise. Smitty and T. Higgins, when you look at the cap, the percent of the cap. Jalen Hurts and Joe Burrow, percent of the cap. Nobody's making what Saquon is making. No tight end is making what Goddard's making.
Defensively, the Eagles did draft well.
Yeah, right.
You're right. But they hit on those.
And then you go to the offensive line. The Eagles are paying 3 offensive linemen. Who are the Bengals paying? So people want to point out they paid 2 receivers. They paid 2 receivers and Joe Burrow. Who else?
Not just that they paid, they prioritized. Because to me, y'all didn't prioritize Trey Hendrickson, and you could have, and you should have.
Trey Hendrickson, we wanted to prioritize him, right? He wanted $30+ million. What'd he get? So it looked like the Bengals was dead on with what they was offering.
It's true, and you got to look at Trey Hendrickson's age. There was just no reason to pay him that much money, considering his age, the position he played. There was no sense in paying him that much.
He wanted $30+ million. What he got? He got 28. The Bengals was offering him that.
TJ, answer me this. I have never, and fact check me, people at home. You've never seen a quarterback in their prime miss the playoffs 3 years in a row.
You're right.
Ever. And Joe Burrow's not the only guy to ever have a bad defense.
Yeah,
Dak Prescott had a terrible defense too, and he's had a couple of them. You've never seen a quarterback in their prime.
Historically.
Ever.
Not
and
historically.
Points are like, so it's like missing all the other different elements. You got to factor in players staying healthy. I mean, there's just so many things that went into it versus who he is comparing it to. With Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, the offense stayed healthy. You had great changes. There was just so many different things that made the offense on Dallas be a very high caliber offense versus Bengals, because you had Joe Burrow out. And granted, you needed a better offensive line, in my opinion. But also, as Derek pointed out many times, they needed to address the defensive issues, which, what TJ said, they did. They have addressed that.
Bad defense. All those quarterbacks that I just named, and there's more, have never had a defense like that. Not one season in their career. Ever. Ever. Because if they do, they're not making the playoffs.
3 years in it. It's just the fact that I can't talk about him anymore. Drake May has entered in the league, and he's gotten just as far. Bo Nix has entered into the league, and his team is now...
Look at the defense! What are you talking about? Look at the defense! Look at the defense Bo Nix had. But then you got to factor in what happened to the Broncos whenever Bo Nix got taken out. That just shows you what happens when you lose a key player, which is what happened to the Bengals. They lost Burrow. Once you lose your key position player, you're going to have those types of seasons. What are we talking about?
League and his team is now back. CJ Stroud, number 1 defense. Drake May, top 5 defense. Bo Nix, top 5 defense.
CJ Stroud, no number 1 wide receiver. Drake May, no number 1 wide receiver. Bo Nix, no number 1 wide receiver.
Bo Nix, I can agree with. Stephon Diggs is the number 1 receiver.
At age 32, no, he was not.
700 yards.
Steph at age 32.
I disagree. I disagree with Acho on this. Stephon Diggs, no matter what we think of his off-the-field issues, he is a top wide receiver. You got to take age out of it. With the advancements of sports medicine and physical therapy, age really isn't a factor as much as what it used to be in the past. Same with injuries. I mean, I do factor in age when it comes to certain positions, though, right? There are certain positions where I do think age is a factor. So the positions like a running back, defensive players, things like that, sure, you could argue age is a major factor. But we're talking about a wide receiver who, mainly stays protected for the most part, right? Because you got a lot of rules protecting a vulnerable player on the field, such as a quarterback and a wide receiver. Do they take hits? Of course. But, I mean, I don't agree with that. I think, Stephon Diggs, he proved himself this season. He is a top wide receiver.
Diggs was not. Stephon Diggs not a number 1 wide receiver.
You see, y'all going off the yards.
I'm going off talent. He's not Jamar Chase.
No, he isn't. No. But if you play me one-on-one, can I get open when I need to be? Yes, he can. That's a number 1 receiver.
A number 1 receiver, you look at how reliable are they. You don't factor in the yards. You don't factor in this other BS. You look at how reliable are they. Can they make those contested catches? Stephon Diggs has proven he can do that.
That's the number 1 receiver. Are you getting open when I need to play to be made?
In this era of the AFC, Stephon Diggs is not a number 1 wide receiver because Stephon Diggs cannot beat Derek Stingley. Stephon Diggs cannot beat Pat Surtain. Stephon Diggs cannot beat Christian Gonzalez.
Look
Stephon
at
Diggs
the
can't beat
CBs that he's putting Stephon Diggs up against. And I would argue that Stephon Diggs can go up against those guys because his brother was a top CB and played for Alabama, which is the same place that Patrick Surtain played for. I don't know. I don't get his point here.
Witherspoon. In this era, he's not a number 1 wide receiver. I just hate when Bengals fans try to say, woe is me about the defense, but don't acknowledge, you got an offensive-minded coach, and Joe Burrow has all of these offensive weapons.
He has 2 weapons. 2 weapons.
He came out the womb with 4. Joe Mixon was a top 5 running back.
Of course, starting off, Burrow had a lot of key players on offense for the Bengals. And this is how they, made it to compete for a Super Bowl. But you can't always maintain that. That's not realistic. You're going to lose those players. And you have to find other ways to succeed. And, I don't agree with this, with Acho.
Tyler Boyd was probably the best number 3 wide receiver. Yeah. And you know this better than me.
Oh, my God.
You know this better than me.
Tyler Boyd's a good player, man.
He was a number 3.
He's a good player.
And y'all had Tyler Eifert at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Tyler Eifert was hurt every season, bro. He was hurt every season. Really good player. He was hurt almost every single season. There's no football. That's why football is an ultimate team game. Yes, Joe Burrow has to get to the
ultimate. That is such a key thing that he said. Ultimate team game.
More than he just got to stay healthy. If he stays healthy,
that is my major thing. Keep him healthy. What have I said consistently on here about Joe Burrow? Keep him healthy. The offensive line cannot collapse on him. You've got to be able to give him time to pass, and he's got to be able to stop having to make these plays on his own, get it with his legs, right? You've got to, at some point, do better with the offensive line. I feel like, you paid your players, that's corrected. You also have the new defensive pieces. That's a major thing. People talk all the time about what wins these football games. Defense. That's always been a major thing. if you can address these issues, which shout out to Derek, this is something, Derek, you've talked about a lot, is they needed to address the defense in order to be better. You know, what they brought in, I mentioned bringing in Jonathan Allen, roll tide to Jonathan Allen, but they brought in Jonathan Allen for a 2-year deal. You also brought in the former CB, I think, from the Chiefs, right? So you bring in players like this that have, you know, proven success. I think it's going to make a difference for right now. I don't get what he's, I mean, and then you just add in the factor of the talent that Joe Burrow is and having Jamar Chase and Higgins. I mean, you're acting like they're trash, and they're really not. They're really not. They've proven time and time again that they can succeed if everyone stays healthy. And they, like I said, they addressed the issues they had. That's why many people were impressed with the Bengals for the draft. I don't get what Acho's point is here. It got me annoyed.
But you can't. How we lose to the Bears? How we lose to the Bears?
Defense. I mean, yeah,
should have won that game.
Yeah, that was
like
really
there's
bad.
so many games that it's like. Let's go back. How they lose to the Chiefs? Like, bro, game over. Fourth and what? 17.
Talk about the fumble. Talk about the fumble.
He can't.
It's 4th and 17, bro. Game's over.
Worst defense in the league.
Your quarterback is going to struggle. You're going to struggle on offense if your defense isn't doing well, right? If your defense is constantly having issues and your offense is having to stay out on the field, there has to be a balance. You can't have your defense out on the field too long. Equally, you can't have your offense out on the field too long. You got to have a balance. Acho.
The Cowboys defense was atrocious.
It was right there with them. It was right there with them.
And they did exactly what the Bengals did. Watch the playoffs.
But Joe Burrow is supposed to be better than Dak. I'm simply saying this, T. If the Bengals miss the playoffs 4 years in a row, can we just not talk about Joe Burrow
That is
again
ridiculous.
until he makes it?
Ridiculous. That honestly ticks me off. Joe Burrow is such a talent, and I talked about this multiple times in the video that I just posted on Joe Burrow. That is such a talented quarterback, you cannot ignore him. Even when he's out, you can't ignore him because you're constantly talking about his talent. Now, one conversation we can have, and I think there will be multiple conversations of this depending on how the season goes for the Bengals, is if Joe Burrow remains with the Bengals. I personally think if there's not success this upcoming season, Joe Burrow is out. And y'all can go check out my video, my recent video. But I said at the end, if Joe Burrow ends up wanting out, I so hope that he goes to the Cowboys because that would be such a deja vu moment for Joe Burrow to be at the Cowboys because it's almost similar to a Troy Aikman. But y'all, take it with a grain of salt. We all know how it goes with the Cowboys. That's a long shot, right? That's a long shot. But if Burrow, that's just me dreaming, right? If Burrow was to be out of the Bengals and want to be on a different team, I would wish it would be the Cowboys.
You just have to put 4 years. You got to put things in context because there's no player. I don't care how good you are. If your defense is not, when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, do you know what the defense was ranked? I do.
26th?
No, they were like
18th?
No, they were like 17 and 19. In between that, I believe. They weren't even top 10. They went to Super Bowl. So he's shown you. You give me a decent defense. We going places.
That is the major point here. That's the major point. You give Joe Burrow a decent defense to work with. Keep him healthy, and protected with your offensive line. He has proven he can have success. He made it to a Super Bowl after all. Just give him a decent defense. And this, shout out to Derek, this is something Derek talked about multiple times, is they have to address the defense. And they did that. So you give him a decent defense. He's proven consistently when he's healthy that he can succeed. I don't get it. I don't know why that's so difficult. I don't know why that's clocking not clocking to Acho here. But what up, Juice Drops Entertainment? Y'all go subscribe to Juice Drops Entertainment. Shout out to you.
Decent defense. Just give me some stops here and there.
But here's
They
the
also
thing,
have the worst rushing defense in the league, which is the worst place you could be in.
Yeah, but to me, I'm not even mad at last year. If it's 1 year, it's not a conversation. Kim, they missed it 3 years in a row. You can graduate college in 3 years,
There's
bro. 3 years?
different issues that they had, though. This goes back to what I said earlier. There's not a consistent, there's no team. Well, I mean, unless you want to talk about the Chiefs. But realistically, there's no team that can maintain that type of success over and over again. You're not going to have a great team every season. That's just not, that's not realistic.
I mean, it's more
the
so
average NFL career is 3.3 years. They missed an NFL career
Now,
worth of
I
playoffs.
think that average should change. I feel like they need to adjust the average career length these days because, you know, I've talked about it multiple times. The advancements of sports medicine, physical therapy, you're seeing players last longer in the NFL. Look at Tom Brady's career. Look at Aaron Rodgers. You're seeing these players have, you know, depending on the position, longer withstanding careers. Look at Derrick Henry. The shelf life, I feel like, is increasing. Look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley came off of a knee injury, and look at the success he had. So I feel like the average career span for an NFL athlete needs to be changed. I feel like it's increased. It's no longer the 2 to 3 years that we're seeing. It's way longer now.
So to do with his injuries, I think, than anything else. But also this past year, this was bad. Like, this is a horrible situation defensively that they had.
Absolutely.
And this is why, again, if you go watch my recent video on Joe Burrow, I talked about, you know, Joe Burrow gave his warning to the Bengals. He said if he wants to continue having fun playing the game, that, you know, something had to change. Basically is what it boils down to. Y'all can go back and check that video out for yourself. But I'm telling you, it has to change or Joe Burrow is out. That's what I truly believe.
And the Commanders is the only team that gave up more yards.
Yeah.
And the Commanders were decimated with injuries.
Yeah.
Like that's historically
that
bad.
was so unfortunate for the Commanders. That was so unfortunate for them. I'm telling you, because you had Jaden Daniels out. I think a wide receiver went out. It was just a lot of injuries for the Commanders.
Here's the reason why, and one, stats don't tell the whole story. But if we're looking at yards, the second worst, but they gave
points
up
per game.
380 yards. The Bears gave up 360 yards a game. So 2 first downs. Bears gave up 2 first downs less a game. And the Bears.
They were also giving up almost a touchdown less points per game, though. Like, the Bengals are letting people finish.
But everything is context too, because a really good relief to a bad defense is a good offense. Because if you got the ball and you taking long drives and 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 long drives, you can mask
We're not
a bad
taking
defense.
long drives. We scoring right away. We scoring too fast.
That's
we play the Bears. You point out the Bears. That's a game the Bengals should have won easily. Like, game over. Like, you really, was it Coastal Loveland or Cole Komet? I think it was Coastal Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you just really let them complete this pass? Like, and so that the Bengals defense is going to be better.
I agree.
Second year without,
like I said multiple times, they made adjustments. They made changes that were necessary. Again, temporary fixes. I do believe it's temporary fixes. Just enough right now to keep Joe Burrow satisfied. To have them possibly playing, you know, more decent this season, having a better season. So I agree with TJ on this.
They're gonna be better. We're gonna be better defensively.
They were ranked 20th in scoring defense in 2023, 26th in scoring defense in 2024, and then this past year 31st in scoring defense.
And you just gotta think, like, all the different issues they had, the issues with the defense. Then you had the issues with the offensive line and Joe Burrow staying healthy, right? Like, there was just so many different things that factored into the Bengals having a bad season. But like TJ said, when Burrow has a decent defense and you have an O-line doing a better job of protecting him, He's proven he can have success. So what are we talking about?
They've consistently got worse, though, on the defensive side of the ball year after year as well.
And can you look at all the playoff teams? Where was the lowest one defensively? Where were they ranked? Was it the Bears?
Points per game?
Where was it the Bears?
I believe it was the Bears. It was the Bears averaging 24 points per game this past season.
And where'd that put them?
That put them. I believe they were. They were 23rd.
The Bears. That was a scrappy little team. I think that's what you would say. But the way they were able to come out and win those games it should be studied, because they fought hard to win some of those games. Like, they really were impressive, in my opinion. What is up, Rhonda? Good to see you here. You said sharing love for you. Go Cowboys. That's right. Go Cowboys.
Around when Joe took him to the Super Bowl, about give or take.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's nothing.
You have a point, though. You do have a point.
Like, because I'm not disagreeing with nothing you say.
If he's healthy, though, all of those close games, you'd like to think, maybe even the game where Joe Flacco's in there and whatnot for a stretch, they essentially gave 2 games away when what's his name started, the other quarterback, the young one that they Jake Browning. They gave games away. They were still within the mix. If he's healthy that season, they could probably make the playoffs.
It just comes down to this for me. In the history of football, or at least since the turn of the century, you haven't seen a quarterback of Joe Burrow's stature in his prime miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. Not Rodgers, not Manning, not Brady, not Roethlisberger. Like, not Russ, not Mahomes, not Lamar.
The organizations,
you just don't see it.
Them organizations. And when they traded for Dexter Lawrence, that shows me they know Joe.
That's what I'm saying. Go watch my recent video on what Troy Aikman had to say on Joe Burrow. Like, Troy Aikman is very hype on Joe Burrow, and I agree with him on everything he says about Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is a talent. He's one of my favorites to watch in the NFL as well. But in that video, I played the clip of what Joe Burrow had to say. Like, if he wants to continue having fun on the game, something has to change. That was Burrow ticked off, giving a warning to the Bengals. You better get it right this upcoming season or I'm out. And I feel like the Bengals, like I said before, address those issues.
No. That it's going to be some requests made had they not done that and the defense played bad again, another season like that. And so at this point, the front office and the Bengals have done everything that they can. It's up to the player. And so I do agree with you to a certain degree. Just be top
ultimately
20.
it does come down to the player's performance, right? It does eventually come down to how they're going to perform. But like TJ said, Burrow has proven that if he stays healthy and that if he has a great defense and the offensive line's protecting him, he's successful. You've seen it whenever he made a run for the Super Bowl against the Rams. And that was with, what did they say that defense was ranked? It was like 17th or 18th, something like that. So he did it with a semi-decent, defense. Yeah, you agree? Shout out to that. Shout out to you, Rhonda.
Be top 20. If you don't make the playoffs, then the criticism is fair.
Yeah.
Because too much is given, much is expected. And so it's hard to lead a team to the Super Bowl, and then now you can't even get back to the playoffs.
Correct.
And so, yeah, to a certain degree, man, that defense, man, they got to step their ass up, man.
True.
Big fact.
Absolutely.
They got to step up. At this point, with all the changes, the Bengals, the Bengals did everything they could. So it's got to be better if they want to keep Joe Burrow. But let's go ahead and close it out with the motivational video. We opened up with the motivational video, discussed Pat McAfee and the Aaron Rodgers return. Also, Speakeasy covering Aaron Rodgers' return to the Steelers. Discussed the Eagles' schedule. We got into my predictions for the Dallas Cowboys' schedule. And Speakeasy covering Dallas as well. Obviously, last was Bengals and Burrow from Speakeasy, them covering that topic. Now, let's close it out with a motivational video.
One of my favorite quotes till this day: God will put you back together in front of those who broke you.
God will put you back together in front of those who broke you. So that's just a reminder to me to never give up, that things will work for the good of those who love Christ, as the scripture says in Romans. So I do believe that to be true, whether you're a believer or you're not. I feel like it's very important for us to believe that things will work for the good. So hopefully that helped y'all like it helped me. And that is going to be it for this live Touchdown Tribe. I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.
We let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last night we let the liquor talk, but baby, something's telling me this ain't over yet. I know that last